Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Green here with No More News. Huge show today, Monday, February 2nd, 2026. So much to cover. I have endless tabs. The Epstein emails and files have dropped. It has ignited a satanic panic frenzy online of kosher Christian-controlled opposition, misdirection, and disinfo. Tons of tabs to cover. Amalek is back again. Need more Amalek to discuss it with me. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up? How you guys doing? How you doing? Ready to go over this? There's so much.
Yeah.
I messaged him and I was like, yo, there's so much. How are you even gonna go through all of this?
Yeah. Well, not too many long clips, so we can get through tabs pretty quick that way. But first, announcement. It should be going live for purchase on Amazon any minute. They said it could take up to 72 hours for approval. So any minute now, it could be available on Amazon. The new book, Jesus Deception. The Jesus Deception. Also on my website, nomorenews.org. You can get it there to get a signed copy for a couple dollars more that I'll ship to you. We're going to do a book release stream tomorrow. We're all going to pick it up and try to get top trending on Amazon and get green pilled and get the word out. And Amalek's seen a lot of it. He helped me edit some of it, and a few chapters. And there's some bangers in there, if I do say so myself. I can't wait for you guys all to see it. We're gonna briefly talk about it and then do a whole Jesus Deception show tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, See Through It All, for posting about that. All right. Hold on. Let's get this out of the way here. And this. All right. So the Christians are in a frenzy, satanic panic like I've never seen. It's like, Amalek, isn't it like the kookiest of the Christian Bible thumper, Q-tard, QAnon, Pizzagate, secret Satanist everywhere? It's like Alex Jones, David Icke. This whole narrative is now apparently completely dominant on social media. So the Satanists and the Illuminati are not doing a very good job of keeping their conspiracy under wraps, because everybody is talking about how Satanists run the planet, but Jesus Christ runs the universe. Choose him, says the trans Blair White Christian conservative influencer. 45,000 likes. When Satan is the problem, Jesus is the solution. So instead of exposing Epstein and his Torah verses and calling us Goyim and all of the Judaists that believe in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they all make up lies that they're secret Satanists everywhere, so that the solution is to worship the God that the Jews and the rabbis and all these supposed Satanists actually worship. Full spectrum dominance. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's just no one's gonna be able to perform like any coherent reaction to this because of the way it's been kind of covered. And what's really crazy about it is it shows just how people have no ability to discern information, or like look at anything or read anything and discern what is true or not, or maybe that's out of context, and like do the investigation themselves. I think you'll go through it, but like the ball stuff with the bank account, it's right there on the page. It's not. Oh,
they're blatantly lying. They're shameless liars. And I thought about this. I think Christians and Muslims are doing a lot of this too, and Jews also. They feel justified doing something if it's like leading people to Jesus. So they feel justified to make up wild lies about secret Satanists and drinking baby blood and eating babies all over the place to scare people and lead people to Jesus. And they think that's like a okay, good thing. And all they're doing is deflecting away that we're actually talking about Yahweh worshipers. But no, when Baal is the bad guy, when Moloch's the bad guy, when Satan's the bad guy, Jesus, the King of the Jews, and Yahweh is the solution. So this is everybody on Twitter the last few days and years and decades. The conspiracy theorists were right. Satanic elites run the world. All we can do now is worship the King of the Jews and trust the Jewish plan. From the mystical Jewish text Revelation in the Bible. And you're right. when you elevate them to supernatural sorcerers and black magic and magical powers and the children of the devil, it's demoralizing. It's like making people think that they're helpless to do anything but just to pray to the Moshiach of the Bible as the solution. Satan maxing. Yeah, everybody is Satan maxing for sure. Real vision.
Well, the other thing too is it prevents people from organizing around this that are of any quality. Like it ensures that essentially the entire, opposition to Jewish power and Judaism is just like the trailer park. You know what I mean? Because no intelligent, quality person who like looks under the hood of the opposition to Judaism is going to be impressed by like the intellectual capacities of the movement, right? Like
No.
they see this and they just turn around and go the opposite direction because of how bad it is.
Yeah, Candace Owens, the intellectual thought leader, Candace Owens says, for 112,000 likes, yes, we are ruled by satanic pedophiles who work for Israel. Everyone needs to digest that fact now. Pray and prepare yourselves to continue this fight against who are working to protect them in the government, media, and church. This is the synagogue of Satan we are up against. So their problem is they're not worshiping Yahweh when they really are just following Yahweh. That's how controlled op this is. From Candace. Candace is insane, if not an op. Pizzagate ongoing extension.
I think it's both.
Right. Yeah, it's Pizzagate, it's QAnon, it's pro-Trump controlled opposition, it's Christianity. You think it's both?
I think she is both an op and she's like a little crazy or whatever. I think that her marriage is like an arranged marriage, and that's kind of like if you look at it, she got married and then this whole thing started happening, and that family is like a extremely Zionist, Christian Alliance Zionist family. Like they have a very weird past and like all that stuff. So I think that what's going on is like a little bit of both, where she's nuts, but also like, I mean, look, they pushed her forward because she's a black woman, right? Like that's basically what it's like the right wing just does their own version of DEI or whatever.
She's just the laughing stock. She's just wrong about everything, getting sued left and right. She mispronounces every word wrong. And then, but oh no, she's got it figured out. Don't worry. Candace Owens is leading the charge against the synagogue of Satan, guys. We've got some good representation here. RT boosting this. It's always the usual suspect, typical. Everything is demons. It's all spiritual warfare. It's just keeping people locked into the whole Judeo paradigm, with the good cop and the bad cop and the hero and the villain in a fake cosmic Jewish story. And Candace Owens and the Christians are all playing right into this as the controlled opposition. RT's boosting it everywhere. Boxer Ryan Garcia for 60,000 likes. The world is run by satanic pedophiles. It's weird. They like fetishize this. They get off on this. They want this to be true because then that means Jesus is going to come and save them.
Yeah, it's like they want to be in a movie too. That's part of this too. They think that they want our real life, like the real world, to be like a movie or some sort of fantasy world, because they already are living in one, right? And basically everything that they see on a daily basis is saying, no, actually you're just in reality. And this is like a way for them to be like, no, see, we really do live in fantasy world. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like medicine to them too, right? Because it lets them cope with like their day-to-day shitty lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense why they do it. It's like their own version of an escape.
The elites know their misspelled ruler is Satan. They sacrifice to demons so they can continue their power. So they got magic powers. God sends in his warriors, not conspiracy. We are in a spiritual battle of good and evil. Open your eyes. Exactly. Luke Rudowski, they worship demons. Everybody's pushing this over this Baal lie, by the way, claiming that Epstein's account name was Baal, and it's really just a scanner error for bank. It says bank name. It's like Wachovia Bank or something. We'll get there in a second. But all of this is over a obvious spin and lie.
Yeah, it's not like we're talking about something that's like a very like okay, like if that like let's just put that one aside. It's not like we're talking about something that's like them talking about, oh yeah, don't forget the ball ritual we're doing next Saturday or anything like that. There's
Yeah.
nothing like that at all.
Mm-mm.
Not even close. There's no pictures like that. There's nothing
No.
like that at all
There's
anywhere.
Torah verses. They're sharing
Yeah, I was
Torah
just gonna
verses.
say, but
Yeah.
anything that is like that, that is spiritual or anything like
Hmm.
that, is all based on Torah. Okay, they're like
Hmm.
quoting Leviticus and Deuteronomy at each other, and other things like that that I'm sure we'll go over. But like, dude,
Hmm.
they're not. They're they're basing this off of nothing.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah. They
can't have
had
like a
so.
true opposition with that.
Yeah.
You can't like
They
have a
had
leading
some
opposition that
owl
believes in
like
nothing.
theater performance at Bohemian Grove 30 years ago, and like that's all they can point to for this supposed secret. But we're gonna get into all the Baal stuff. This is the Christians and the spiritual warfare, introducing that this is how they got everybody locked in completely. Like, dude, all the goyim are wrapped around their finger with this whole thinking everything is secretly satanic. These Christian influencers. The world is dark, Pete. Oh, that's what the other thing too. It's like they need Satan to rule the world because the Bible says Satan rules the world. So any type of bad thing or thing they disagree with, like they view, or anything that's just not like pro Jesus, they claim is Satan.
Also,
Right. So
like
worship the King of the Jews, or you're Satan to these Christians.
well, the thing is too is they just like don't understand Satan or Baal or anything. I keep saying like Baal's a Babylonian, whatever. Like no, he's a Canaanite god. Like he's a
Mm-hmm.
Canaanite deity, and he has no relation to Satan. Okay, like you guys are just this whole thing
Mm-hmm.
is so dumb. Like it's
Yeah.
like they have no concept of their own like religious universe that they're even operating. They're like making it up as they
Yeah.
go along.
So, come Lord Jesus, says Joel Webb. And we're talking about an apocalyptic messianic cult reaching feverish frenzy levels, waiting for their Moshiach to come. All the Christians are online chanting, "We want Moshiach now," getting riled up over this Baal lie from the email. And they're all Ryan Garcia also said a tweet. He said the rapture is about to happen. So this kook even believes in the rapture. But you think you can trust him? You know, the author of the Left Behind series, Tim LaHaye, also wrote about the rapture and the end times and the Antichrist. The founder of the CNP, influential right-wing Christian group in politics still today. So Tim LaHaye also wrote a series called Babylon Rising, all about how there's a secret Babylonian cult running everything. So that is the kosher narrative being promoted by like the top kosher Shabbos Goy writer. And this is the type of things they're doing. So they're saying pedophile president of Satanic USA. Satanic USA is anti-Edom Kabbalistic rhetoric. That's what all the Russian bros are doing, all the Dugan bros. Everything's antichrist and satanic and demonic amongst Edom in the West, just like the rabbis say. And they're doing this based on a lie from Epstein. So look at this. God forbid I ever take my daughter somewhere and get photographed with my daughter. They'll show the picture and imply that you're a pedophile because of it. And I've covered the true things about Trump and young girls, like him saying him and Epstein liked young girls, or him talking about the girl on the elevator saying he's going to date her in a few years, or even talking about saying he thinks his daughter is hot, which is very on brand for Trump anyway. But showing pictures of Trump, it got community noted too, with his daughter, and then implying that that's like some Russian honeypot on him or something is just so retarded. But it doesn't matter. 4.3 million views, 61,000 likes for that. God forbid, I guess all of Edom is satanic because Trump took his daughter to some ball event. Look at this guy too. It's Muslims too doing this, calling us the great Satan just like the rabbis do, basically. Dr. Sam Youssef. I think he's a Muslim. Arab. Oh, he follows me. Look at that. I wonder if that was new or did I retweet him or anything. But anyway, he's community noted too. It's just all one big cabal of sick, corrupted, and evil men who think of themselves above the law. And the proof is your receipt is Trump with his daughter at a black tie event. Like,
Yeah, they
this
have
is the
absolutely
best
nothing.
you got.
Well, we'll go through it, but like the best that we have in this is them talking about the Torah and like being Jewish supremacists, essentially. Like that's basically what we have in here as far as like things go. All of the cannibalism and drinking blood and all that stuff, like none of that is in here. It's so stupid. But that's the narrative on not just Twitter. I mean,
yeah.
I went
Christians
Instagram,
get off
TikTok,
on the
everywhere.
Antichrist. Christians and Muslims both have an Antichrist Dajjal figure, so they like want it to happen. It literally gets them off. They get a hard on. They get excited that their prophecies are unfolding with all of this satanic panic stuff. And it's in a weird way, it's like Christians worship Satan in the Antichrist. What good is Jesus without Satan as the villain when he's created by God and allowed to operate by God and not destroyed by God, by your all-powerful God? It's all a ruse. It's all a charade. It's like a pantomime. And then playing into this whole construct, it doesn't get more kosher than everything's Babylonian, everything's satanic. And the answer to it is we got to worship Yahweh and Moshiach, which is exactly what the Jews that they claim are Satan worshipers actually want. What else needs to be said? That's like the whole thing in a nutshell right there. Anyway, Nicki Minaj now, the new Candace Owens, the rapper or former rapper. Now she's at TPUSA and she's holding hands with Trump on the stage. And now she's playing right into the everything satanic Hollywood. She says, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of a blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. 186,000 likes. She's not going to name any names. She's not going to expose anybody and take anybody down. She'd be sued into oblivion. And why she never spoke about this before? She's known this. All Volca Spirit says satanic Hollywood stuff is clearly engineered to bolster the Christian dialectic. Absolutely. It's all it's ever been. It's Israel. Stop running cover, says Nico. That's funny. But anyway, that's being boosted by RT also. And then her receipts. So she promises, this is so like Kanye too. She promises like proof of satanic rituals and mutilating babies and everybody worshiping Satan. And then what kind of receipts does she drop? Jay-Z in an intimate photo with a 20-year-old rapper singer. So she's got an axe to grind against Jay-Z for some reason. I don't know. Maybe Jay-Z is completely disgusting like, what's his face?
None of this would surprise
Daddy.
me, but this isn't like a systemic Jewish like that.
This isn't a ritual sacrifice to Satan, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say it's not. This isn't evidence of like a Jewish rewrite of their religion into like basically like demon worshiping child sacrifice. That's ridiculous.
And what do I think is happening? She sees the opportunity to be. She's getting all this attention now, saying this stuff, and maybe she's aging out of her rap career demographics. Like, are we going to have like a 40-year-old black rapper that's trying to be all hot and stuff? I don't know. Album sales aren't going so good, possibly. Now she wants to do the right-wing Christ is King grift for attention seeking. Oh, and just this is what Christians do. They love to hype up a satanic threat because then it leads people to Jesus. It's their Satan is the number one way of gaining converts to Christianity. Nothing fills the pews more than a good Satan scare, some good fear-based mind control scaring you into the arms of the Jewish God and his Messiah. I want to see this real quick. 80s and 90s satanic panic video.
Warning signs of satanic behavior may be apparent, such as a sudden, bitterly antagonistic attitude towards family and religion, a drastic decline in academic performance, a
Satan's
reclusive
Jesus' best recruiter,
and listening exclusively to heavy metal rock music, almost to the point of addiction. When one or more of these warning signs are evident, you should look further for ritual items such as a pentagram or other satanic symbols, black or
Slayer?
red
Is this
robes.
Slayer? Satan and
decorated
Jesus
dagger
dividing
for knights.
families. And this is the thing, too. Edgy teenagers trying to be counterculture. Well, when the dominant religion of your culture is Christianity and people reject it for whatever reason, some of them feel like being edgy and triggering and offensive and swing the other way and then LARP as they love Satan. Does that go on? Sure. Are all the elites secretly worshiping Baal and Moloch and eating babies and pretending to be Jews? No. That's retarded. And there's no proof of it. Mm-hmm.
I posted one of the things in the chat. It says Epstein demons. If you bring that up, it's a perfect example of what we're talking about too. This has 52K likes, dude. See where it says Epstein demons?
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh, here we go. Meeting chats. I was on the wrong thing. Actually, no. Hold on. Yeah, I did. Oh, wait. Maybe there it is. Oh, they're hiding from me. Okay, Epstein demons. Let's see.
This has 52K likes, dude.
I think I already have this one.
Oh, okay. This
Maybe,
is crazy.
hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I was going to show this one. This is the Baal stuff. Here, let's get to that in just a second. Hold on.
Okay.
We'll skip this. This wasn't quite what I thought it was. Okay, we're on the Baal thing. And we're there. So here, all the same kosher disinfo, BRICS, pro-Russia, anti-Western, Christian Muslim Alliance accounts. Like this is one of the top ones. Adam Media, Jackson Hinkle, the BRICS account, 500,000 followers. Epstein named his bank account Baal. Is a demonic being that was worshipped. Baal is, because it's in the Bible, it's also in the Quran as well. So the Muslims love this theory also. Child sacrifice is a ritual. Baal worshippers, usually through burning like Israel did to Gaza. Archaeological discoveries have found thousands of urns with cremated infants and small children remains. Now we have evidence Epstein's circle killing and even eating children. 8 million views, 100,000 likes. And here's the proof, okay? Memorandum. JP Morgan wiring $11,000 to Baal name Wachovia Bank. Routing number, account name, One Clear Lake Center LLC. So what was the claim here, guys? Epstein named his bank account Baal. How stupid do you have to be? The bank account name is One Clear Lake Center. Baal is an error from the scanner. It says bank name in the original, Wachovia Bank. It's not Baal. How could you think automatically? It's like, oh, this is the account name. It's bank name. Look at this. Look in the other copy that wasn't scanned, the original. It's the photocopy. Bank name. I even saw something about how Baal could have been like bank account at location as an acronym, an abbreviation for bank. But I think it's more likely just the scanner. It's OCR scanner. They scan everything so it could be searchable. There's also some weird thing going on where letters are changed to like equal signs in this Epstein dump. But do you guys realize this? Okay. So how much of a lie that is? Clearly, it's not Baal is the bank account. His bank is a demon bank. No, they're all lying. They're all knowingly lying for clicks, for fear-mongering, to smear the West as satanic, to scare people into staying into the Judeo paradigm. See, bank name, Wachovia Bank. It's not Baal. Everybody is lying. And you're being corrected, and none of them are holding each other accountable. None of them are retracting or taking it down. I don't know how every one of these isn't also community noted. Look, BRICS. So it's always the Russian controlled Christian Muslim opposition is always being filtered through some Russian faction. BRICS, 58,000 likes. Same exact thing.
Yeah, they know
Epstein
about
had a
Baal
bank
too, by the
account
way.
named Baal. What?
Like those Russian accounts, like those Orthodox Christians, they know what Baal is. Like um, everyone in that sphere knows who authentically is. All Baal is the storm god that Yahweh defeats and like replaces for the Israelite people. That's all he
It's
is.
the son of El
It's
in Canaanite religion.
Yeah, his name just means like Lord. Okay, so all he
Mhm.
is he's the like Yahweh like basically beat out Baal and replaced Baal as their henotheistic god, and so Baal only survives in these texts as a polemic against like the religion that the early Israelites that the Bible is like aimed at against, like
Mhm.
politically, basically, right? They're
Mhm.
basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to like make a founding myth or like an identity myth for those people in that region. And part of doing that was that, and Yahweh comes in and beats Baal, and that's who Baal is basically like a god that Yahweh that's the context of this whole thing. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. And the other thing too is like Baal's like a rising and dying god too. If there's anyone who's like Baal like, it's literally
Yeah.
Jesus.
The son
You know
of
what I mean?
El, the son of Yahweh,
Yeah.
and a dying and rising. Yeah, that would be like Jesus.
The whole thing is stupid.
Jackson Hinkle, so Russian agent, Duganist, Jackson Hinkle, 12,000 likes, same post, bank account name Baal. They're demons. And now everybody's like, come, Jesus. We're run by Satanists. Oh, and this is their proof here. This is the best they got. This is the most viral thing. And it's such stupid disinfo. Look at this one, another one. So much, 62,000 likes. This stuff goes all the way back to biblical times. And stuff most people can't comprehend because it's schizophrenic or crazy. Dude, you guys are obvious liars. Obviously lying about this. This one, 21,000 likes, same thing. Dom Luker, of course. MAGA shill, 22,000. None of them retract. None of them correct themselves. None of them have any integrity or humility. They are propaganda liars. And you can say, the Jews run everything. Jews run Elon. Jews run Trump. They're shilling Jesus nonstop. And the most popular viral shit is all the Christian slop and all of this satanic maxing. Is the most viral, most botted, most astroturfed, most boosted by the algorithms.
I also got to point out something that's like anti-white about it too, is that like they all like depict Baal in this like goat-like demon form, and like that form has no relationship to how he was actually depicted back then in his like by his contemporary people. Like if they are worshiping Baal, it wouldn't look like that, and it never looked like that. Okay, like that's like later imagery applied to Baal by idiots. What they're doing is they're taking like the pagan god, I can't remember his name. It's like a Celtic god, and like Pan and other Greek god. Like they're taking this like the goat-legged god, and they're attributing him to Baal as like as a way that they used to destroy paganism. You know what I mean? They used to point at those pagan gods and be like, oh, that's actually like an avatar of the devil. So that's how he picked up that appearance. So they're all using this picture, the same picture, and it's just like part of this anti-white propaganda against our ancestral gods. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he picked up that imagery.
Baal with a thunderbolt. Phoenicia, Canaan. El is the dad, and Asherah is the mother in some traditions.
Yeah, it's just that they took the Greek god of like Pan, and then later there's another one I can't think of his name, the Celtic god, and they're like taking the imagery of that guy and they're putting it on Baal. It's stupid.
God of fertility, weather, rain, wind, lightning, seasons, war, and sailors. That's a hell of a lot. God of a hell of a lot of things. Look, there's one of the oldest depictions, Bronze Age figurine.
Yeah, he was basically like Zeus, kind of. He was kind of like a Zeus or Thor or something like that. But yeah, they like the goat imagery and all that other stuff. Like that doesn't come in until later. It's like basically like it was like the medieval European way of like fighting against the European pagans, is that they depicted the devil like those pagan gods. You know what I mean? So like basically these e-crusaders are then taking that propaganda that was like itself anti-white back then, and they're adopting that as part of this like polemic, as if it's something that is useful to us. It's like they're rehashing bullshit propaganda.
I can see here. I know it every single time I do it too. When there's some big account, some big anonymous account like Globe Eye News, 800,000 followers. I go to their page. I search Russian and Putin, and every time it's pro Putin stuff. Every single time. And watch. This is what he. So they shared it too. There's no undoubtedly this is the pro Russian network pushing this controlled op slop, and it's blatant lies. It's atrocious. Died suddenly. Ed Zoll, 800 and worked with Stu Peters, 850,000 followers, 4,000 likes. Same thing. Epstein is telling you the name of the demon god he served. Like, he shares Torah verses. He's probably a secular Jew. Doesn't really believe the Bible, but knows it, dude. These guys are like, they're secret Satan worshipers. Rabbis won't even say the name of Satan.
Yeah, and they're certainly not drinking Goyim blood.
I know, yeah, they're drinking Goyim blood. No, they actually won't even let the Goyim pick their grapes. No, only can pick the grapes. Can't go into can't touch them once they're indoors. Can't cook their food, can't touch their food. They're impure, but they're drinking their blood, yeah. Okay, and it's real, and it really gives them magic powers. Christians are just like projecting because they're the ones that drink the magic blood. They're the cannibal blood drinkers. They're the believers in blood magic. And the thing is, too, it's important to note, like this dialectic between Jesus and Satan is like Jesus is just as real as Satan. Satan's like there was never a historical Satan on earth, right? Walking the earth like they claim Jesus, just like there wasn't a Jesus. They're cosmic heavenly figures.
Another thing too is I think part of the reason that they push this stuff, these same networks, is, and we'll go into it, I'm sure, but a lot of this stuff, it does seem that there's like a better argument to be made that Epstein had like Russian connections.
Oh yeah.
Than there is like, you know what I mean? I mean, some of these. I mean, I think it's both. I see it as all one thing.
We're covering that. We're going to cover the Russia and Israel emails.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's like a way better evidence for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, Steve Douche. He's the guy that's at TPUSA also, right? I think so. Believer. For those who don't know, where is it? Oh, that's not the one I wanted to read. Autism Capital shares it. 7,000 likes. 1 million. Another one of these just anons, brand new, pops up after October 7th. Explodes on the new Elon X. So look at this now. Typical African. We got some black account says, what sharing the bricks, the anti-Western account, what Epstein did is pure white culture. The more you read history, the more you will understand. So trying to smear all of America as satanic, trying to smear all white people for Epstein. Here's another one, Judah. So I think the black Hebrew Israelites take. Remind you that Epstein was Jewish. Now read Revelation 2:9 and make the connection. Another verse they take out of context. Does Revelation 2:9 say anything about Baal? No. Islamic Scientific Heritage, 34,000 likes. They love it. They're the ones that get out. They believe in Baal, while the people they're accusing of believing in Baal actually believe in Yahweh. And it's cope because the Muslims and the Christians are worshiping the Abrahamic God just like the Jews do, and the Jews always wanted you to. Peak white culture, Elon, right? Oh, let's get the power chat turned on. I forgot it to even mention it. Jeez. I've had some pent-up thoughts dying to get out about all this. I'm just amazed with how the leading discourse of the opposition to Jews is always like egregiously lying, and lying with the typical Christian controlled op talking points. All right, we got playback turned on. Powerchat.live/no-more-news. Pinned to the top of Rumble and Odysee where we're streaming, and in the video below. Oh, here we go.
Mark Crampton 67 sent $20 on Rumble. Here's
Thank
a few
you.
shekels. Baruch
Thank you,
Hashem.
Mark. Baruch Hashem, my friend.
Boleslav sent $20 some Baal-pilled Bible quotes. Hosea 2:16, Yahweh tells to not call him Baal any longer. Exodus 34:19-20, Yahweh says to redeem firstborn sons from sacrifice to him by sacrificing animals. Exodus 22:28-29, Yahweh demands firstborn son sacrifice.
Yeah, that's the other stupid thing, right, Amalek? It's like they're blood drinkers, but you drink magic Jew blood.
$5 on Rumble. That's Jesus revealing the truth, Adam lol.
Exactly. Or they'll be like, oh, they're sacrificing babies. Like, that's what God did to Jesus.
$5 on Rumble. Here's some Monday shekels.
Thank you, Loki. Hail, Loki. Yeah, the conspiracy, like I always say, isn't that they're secretly worshiping Satan. It's that they think that Christians and Muslims are all satanic. That's what they actually think. All right, the Savior, another big Putin simping account. Also, he didn't get that many likes on it though. It was a little late. Putin knew. Now they're saying Putin's the white hat. Putin's calling out the Satanists. That's why they're always running that propaganda. Putin banned Satanism in Russia, right? They keep recycling that over and over and over again. So DD geopolitics, multipolar. So Dugan account. Transcending borders in a multipolar word. Dugan coded. Quoting Putin, talking shit about the West. Calling them all satanic. Putin knew. Look, 58,000. The Western elites are stuffing their bellies with human flesh and their pockets with money. Oh, they're eating babies. Putin exposed the baby eaters. The enemy of Jesus and the enemy of mankind in Islam. This is all just uniting. This is riling up Esau and Ishmael to turn against Jacob for their end times narrative, right? Mm-hmm. The rise in anti-Semitism. Everybody's talking about Goyim. The Goyim know. The most popular thing online is to think that everybody ruling the world is eating babies and worshiping the devil. Where do you think that's going to lead to? At the very least, the narrative.
Imagine you're Jewish right now. This is going to help them. So, I don't know. There's Jews who were watching what happened in 10/7, all the stuff that's been happening lately, and all this noticing and everything like that. And they're just kind of aghast because it's basically a lot of them, I think, believe that the whole Jewish thing is a fucking irrelevant. I think that there's obviously what's his name, Epstein has a bunch of stuff in here where he's clearly part of his Jewish identity is clear, but at the same time he's mocking it in a bunch of ways. He says Woody Allison is the Pope of Judaism, or Allen is the Pope of Judaism and stuff like that. And I think a lot of these things, when people are going crazy and doing the demons and the blood, the baby blood stuff, what happens is Jews see that who otherwise wouldn't be really into their identity, and it just hardens that identity to an irrational degree where they can basically justify anything that they want, or anything that anything that their leaders want can be justified when you do have the Goyim fucking acting up, calling them demon worshippers and blood drinkers and all this other stuff, which is just retarded. So it's just it's a cycle that's never going to end until we kind of have to break outside of it. You know what I mean?
Mr. Nobody shared it, but this video too that I wanted to play on the Baal thing. But the first one I saw that's not a Russian, doesn't appear to be a Russian propaganda account from a quick search. Let's see this. Let's see this hard proof. Enough to conclusively know that Satanists run the world. Let's go. Okay. We got a painting. Side by side and upside down. Oh, I love the Dune music. Hans Zimmer. Oh my God.
No way, bro.
Dude. It does look kind of like it though. All right, we got the point. 50. Yeah. Well, I'm convinced. What else do you need to see? Jesus died for our sins. Apparently, we all should pray to Jesus now because of that. Hail Satan. That's funny. No
like,
way,
this is like
dude. I'm not joking. It's real.
This is like this is what they want to be their opposition. This kind of stuff.
Yeah. Jesus save us. Yeah. Okay, here's another Muslim, professor of Iran, 11,000 likes. After reading the Epstein files, it's become clear to me that when Iran calls America the great Satan, a great man knew exactly what he was talking about. So this we're all satanic narrative. Oh, we're the new Babylon. We're Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, we're rising anti-Semitism, right? Racist and stolen land, like they're saying at the Grammys yesterday. All the demonization of the West and America and European people, basically, it all being hyped up by these third worldists and Russian ops and kosher opposition. Yeah, Tucker getting attacked by demons and promoting Jesus. There you go. All satanic. The great Edom Satan, just like the rabbis say. Here's the narrative always, too. 63,000 likes for this account with only 30,000 followers. Nobody talks about how this stuff goes all the way back to biblical times and stuff most people can't. Oh, we read that one already. Biblical. The Bible's real. They're making up lies. So you're chasing ghosts and believing the Bible is real. Look at this one. King Arthur fan, 8,000 likes. If you read between the lines, you'll realize that our government, royals, celebrities are really the ancient Canaanites, fallen angels, and Nephilim in disguise. It's that simple. Yeah, they're not just humans using religion to control people. No, they're demons, and the books are real. They're demon, fallen angel, Nephilim, Canaanites with 6 toes and giants. And that's the other thing, too. Right on schedule, we've got New York Post, who's always doing the throwing the red meat to the Christians with Shroud of Turin stuff. Resurfaced 33-year-old Egyptian document hints at biblical giants being real. 24,000 likes for this. Christians everywhere declaring proof the Bible is real. Aligning perfectly with the demon panic that's going on right now.
Oh, yeah. They've been doing this forever. As long I was thinking about this the other day. For as long as I can remember, Christians have been doing this, where they like pull up archaeology that isn't new, and then they try to like they read like a headline or something that's just trying to get clicks, and then they just incorporate that as part of what they think forever. They incorporate it as part of their religion, and then they'll come into the spaces, or they'll be in our replies. They'll be like, "Oh, you don't think the Bible is real? Well, what are you talking about? They found Noah's Ark in Turkey.
Yeah,
they found Noah, and it's just based on like an article headline or a tweet that they saw like a couple of years ago, basically. So now
some tabloid clickbait news thing.
We'll have them citing this 3,300-year-old Egyptian whatever.
Yeah. Hey, the goy will love this. Give him this. That's what it sounds like to me when they write headlines like this. And what it is it's actually this document has not just been found. It's been known for a long time, and they've known what it said. And it's actually, the text is not a literal account of meeting giants. It's a satirical piece of humor that the Egyptians used to train scribes. Claiming it as proof of Genesis is disingenuous. Well, what do you know? And if it says they're 7 foot, like nobody ever exaggerates in lore. Some midget tribe sees some tall tribe, which it's not impossible that people can have mutations and be 7 feet tall, like those diseases and stuff, right? Like the big man disease, or just like it doesn't take that long of people population to breed to realize like breeding tall with tall makes taller every time. But anyway, look, Smash Bales says today, record of Nephilim confirmed. It's so stupid. So stupid. And it says, even if there was an Egyptian text that was really did claim to talk about giants, like 5-foot people seeing some people that are 6'5" from a distance will call them giants. Will exaggerate how tall they were for their lore, right? So Nephilim confirmed. Stupid, wrong. Child sacrifice to Moloch still happening. They're talking about the Baal lie. Nations ruled by demons. So I love how God loves the world and he created the world, and then he puts demons and Satan in charge of the world.
Yeah,
to test if you believe in Jewish prophecy, otherwise he'll burn you forever in hell. It's the dumbest fucking thing of all time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is that what's happening in my view is that there's like a shred of the truth here, and the true part is that, and it's complicated, which is why it's confusing for them, is that like Satanism and demonology, like Christian demonology, the occult Satanism, like literally like Aleister Crowley and things like that, those are all works that are heavily influenced by the Kabbalah, okay? By Kabbalistic ideas and thinkers and all sorts of other stuff. Those all those ideas are like in the same, what I would call is like the same sphere or something like that. And what's happening is there are like, you know, people in power, some of them are Jewish and some of them aren't, who are like Kabbalists. And the Kabbalistic narrative is the Edom versus Esau, like, you know, the stuff that you talk about in the show. That's what the Kabbalistic narrative is. So when you take in like the supernatural and you're like, oh, they're really demon worshippers, what's happening is you're like providing like a foil for them to use where nobody's able to like really like sift through and decipher what's really going on. And like to what degree there's like Kabbalists trying to take over the world, like that is through Israel and all this other stuff. So what's happening is people are just like getting like the whiff of that idea, and then they're just going absolutely like cape shit wild on it with like, you know, all this demonic shit and adding all this stuff to it.
Yep. I love this comment. This is perfect. Nails it. Elizabeth Taylor says, "Look over there, Goyim, giants." Of course, Robert Zephyr is giant maxing. White giants of the new world. Yeah, that's, if anything, that could be that's at least a plausible explanation. Instead of Nephilim being real, it would just be like, no, that was some base Nordic overlord Vikings that just showed up. Okay, let's see. All right, we can skip this one. Now let's get into the rest of the emails. Now that we got the fake Satan. Oh, it's not all of the. Hold on, there's more. Hear this one. You know you're getting the truth from this guy. 8,000 likes. Let's go. Let's see it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
When you realize that they are still sacrificing children to the same gods from the beginning of time, you really realize this world is so spiritual, and you realize that the Bible...
Zealous for Jesus. Zealous for Jesus is his TikTok, by the way. So this is just Jewish Jesus propaganda, doing all this fear-mongering about supposed Baal worshippers. Or this is Moloch,
the fact that
right?
these elites are sacrificing children to Baal and Moloch, still to this day, it's 2026, they are actively on this island making these children have babies to sacrifice them to Baal or Moloch. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein's bank account name is Baal says everything I need to know. No, they worship.
Well, then you're an idiot. I saw another post. Somebody said, like, you couldn't make this up. His bank account is named Baal, and it's literally made up. It's literally not true. That's not the bank account name. So this is the state of the Christian-controlled opposition to Judaism.
Baal or Moloch. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein's bank account name is Baal says everything I need to know. No, they worship those same gods.
Dude, even if he was doing this, oh my God! Even if that was the bank account name, even if it was Baal, let's
say he really did name it that.
Let's just say that for a second, okay? Even if that was true, there's more of a chance that he's doing it to troll retards because he apparently was aware of the far right and like the conspiracies about Jews and himself. Even right, like he seems to be like self-aware in these emails of all that kind of stuff. So it even if it was true that the bank account was named Baal, okay, It would be more likely he's doing it to fuck with you guys than it is that it's like some sort of secret dog whistle. Like, what do they think that, oh, the ritual to worship Baal is that you name your bank account Baal and then he gives you power? Like, what the fuck? It's the whole thing is so stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah. Meanwhile, look what else he had. He had Christian Orthodox icons in his mansion or New Mexico ranch.
Dude, I've seen them posting that as evidence that, oh, look, he had it up there so he could desecrate it. That's how much he hates it. Oh, my God.
He had a post to Bannon about the Pope wearing a Jewish hat, too. That was good. Okay, let's hear the rest from Zealous for Jesus.
The same bloodlines of people. Nothing has changed. Y'all understand the torture that they put these children through? Not just the kids that they are kidnapping and snatching away from their families, but the kids that they are also making these kids have, mind you, through SA, right? Because they are graping these children as well. Then making them have the baby only to sacrifice the baby to one of these gods. Y'all don't understand that when the Bible says that Satan
what is the proof of any of this?
God of this world, this is exactly what the things entail. I understand that they would quite.
This probably has like 1 million likes on TikTok, I bet.
Things would be heated up like a furnace.
Oh, yeah, I flip through TikTok and some other things, and I search, and it's crazy. They're going nuts.
Yeah.
Every day at school.
And it's being suppressed over there. I think some of it's even being suppressed over on TikTok. Instagram is nuts.
Zealous for Jesus. 233,000 followers.
Furnace, and they would put
that's
the
very
baby
cool.
alive, my dad, into these furnaces to sacrifice the baby. This is sick, bro. This is so sick. Mind you, they eat them and they drink their red stuff that's in their body.
Dude. Bassif Youssef, this pro-Palestine comedian.
Oh, he's a fucking idiot. This guy's an idiot.
The rule of the world, eat children and offer them to Satan and Baal they worship. All of them running with this as if it's real based on this fucking email lie. Is this as crazy to all of you as it is to me? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. That everything is so retarded.
$20 on Rumble. Source, I made it the up.
I know. Yeah, that's the source. Now look at this now. This guy, Sean Atwood, he's got 1 million followers on YouTube, interviews supposedly Epstein's niece. That is not Epstein's niece. She's a lying fraud and a grifter looking for attention. It's got 2.8 million views, I think, or 2 million views. This fake. She's on TikTok. Every video is begging for money. But watch this. This is what she also says. Epstein raped me, and when I was on drugs, he told me that he's only pretending to be Jewish, and he really worships Baal.
It is the cult of Baal, B-A-L. My family masqueraded themselves as Jewish publicly, but behind closed doors, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. They told while I was being abused. Now,
mind you, she didn't come out and say anything until Epstein was conspiracies were already wildly popular on the internet. She's not, people know, have looked into her. She's not a real niece of Epstein. She's regurgitating rumors and conspiracies she heard on the internet about Epstein.
What you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. And
is that a cross?
It's supposed to have been eradicated. But
the secret enemy of the Jews, the secret enemy of Yahweh really runs everything. We're bailing so hard here. Balling out, balls out.
People perceive the Illuminati to be.
Illuminati, really ball. Nazis, ball. Romans, ball. Babylonians, ball.
Forced.
She's a lunatic, dude. I watched so many of her TikToks last night. She is
She's-
insane. I'll pull them up right now, actually. But by the way, no credible evidence links Anya Wick to Epstein as his niece. Epstein's only known sibling is a brother named Mark. No records of him having any children by that name. She's also claiming to be Shia LaBeouf's twin sister. She's a lying, grifting con artist, is what it appears to me. Spewing conspiracy slop, pretending to be an insider so she can get millions of views and then raise money on her TikTok account.
Yeah, the internet has basically turned into like a giant peasant village, like a medieval peasant village, and we've got like snake oil salesmen coming up to the village, and because of the scope and mass, like how many people are on the internet, these people have like no way of discerning through this. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, the village, the village elders or whatever would have kicked the snake oil salesman out and not allowed them. But when we have the internet, they just appear, and like these peasants have absolutely no discernible way of like sifting through this information, and they just completely fall for it. It's so bad. It's like I don't even know how we can solve this problem, because everybody wants to apparently believe in like being a superstitious medieval peasant is the way we're going to like defeat our problems or fix our problems. It's never happening.
Beowulf's in the chat. Yeah, I know that. I watched a video on History Valley too. That there is some truth that Yahweh and the Hebrew Jewish God of the Bible is kind of an amalgamation of other gods, including El, possibly Baal. They took some of their characteristics and kind of incorporated. They merged all the polytheistic gods around that area into one god, and a monotheistic god. So that doesn't mean that they're secretly worshiping Baal. Hold on.
Have you heard of this Sasha guy on the internet saying Trump raped him?
No. Have not. He just did a show with Candace. Well, that tells me all I need to know. Yahweh is the Semitic ultra egregore. The idea that the Jews and the rabbis close the door at the synagogue and like take off their hats and like start worshiping Satan or Baal is just absolutely retarded. And if you don't realize that they worship Yahweh and that should be the issue, you're never gonna make it. You don't get it. Yeah, in fact, Adam King, Roseanne both like to promote this Baal boogeyman thing. It's so Jewish coded. The Babylonians are running everything, like Mystery Babylon. I've been watching his videos. What's his name again? I forgot it earlier.
I can't remember his name. You were telling me about it the other day. But part of what's going on too is like one of the most ancient like insults people gave each other and propaganda that people use was accusing the people they were going to war against of sacrificing their children. There's so many examples of this. We could probably just spend the rest of the day just going over.
They're saying this about Palestinians in Gaza right now. That's the talking point.
It's like it is the most popular war atrocity porn or propaganda you could possibly have, and it goes all. I mean, the Romans accused the Carthaginians of this, and to what degree we might have some evidence for it. I'm just saying, like this is basically what every single power has always accused their enemies of is like sacrificing or killing children. So to be in the year 2026, where we have like the internet and the ability to use logic and reason and look at reality, and to still be believing in like superstitions from literally the Iron Age is just ridiculous. Like we're believing in Iron Age propaganda styles in the modern day. It's crazy, and it's like the most popular type of propaganda. That's just crazy.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird too. I just thought about like if you're a Christian, you really believe that the elites that run the world are sacrificing. That means you think that their God is real, and then the magic is real, and that God is really giving them like supernatural powers. Imagine being that retarded and thinking the world works like that.
Yeah, and I even do think that there was probably like I do think like the leftover remnants of like the Carthaginians and the Phoenicians and those trade routes. I do think I would call that like proto-Judaism or proto-Jews, because they did have a lot in common with like the Jewish, because they're from the same region. So I would even like acknowledge those as like possibilities. But to sit there and like say like that is evidence that they're today, it's like one continuous line or one continuous cult from 3,000 years ago up to today, like that's just not supported by any evidence. So any movement or any political movement like built on fighting against these things that uses that as the basis, like as the Cassius Belli to organize and like take power, it's going to be not able to be done because it's built on a total lie. Like you have to have a legitimate reason to form a political movement and organize, and it can't be based on Iron Age superstitions.
Yeah, if people could just recognize and acknowledge like the power structure we know exists, the institutions we see that we can prove are real, like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, instead of saying, oh no, it's not them, they're being scapegoated and they're the middle management and it's really secret hidden powers behind all of them, it kind of scapegoats some non-existent group. It gets people chasing ghosts and dead ends that lead nowhere, and it's exonerating and diverting away from the Judeo-matrix. It's affirming the Judeo-matrix, actually, because they become the solution. And, the Bible's real. This is why they want the Christians and Muslims want this to be true so bad, is because it has to be true. Otherwise, the Bible's not real. They need Satan worshipers to rule the world. All right. And so they'll ignore Epstein actually sharing emails full of Torah verses about conquering the Goy and hardcore Yahweh verses, right? They'll ignore that. They'll go, no, he's not a Jew. He's a Satan worshiper. His account is named Baal, and ignoring the cross in his ranch, ignoring him actually Ghislaine going to Bible study and Talmud study, and Epstein sharing all these Bible verses. You got to be kidding me, Zeinald. One of the good Jews that follows Torah and not the Talmud? That's a joke. Jeffrey laughs about Jews controlling the world. So many copium pills, right? So here's Epstein's from Jeffrey to Jeffrey Epstein. That's weird. At any dinner,
he sent himself this. Isn't this weird? It's like it's a story he sent himself.
It's a note.
Strange.
Yeah, it's like a joke he came up with that he wanted to tell at dinner parties or something. Or maybe he was planning a career in stand-up. At my dinner table, I asked, quote, "Why are you right-wing guys so anti-Semitic?" One said, "Historically, we know it's actually been the Jews behind the governments actually pulling the strings." Epstein said, "Like who?" And one pointed at me, and they all started to roar with laughter. Me? And one guy said, "How do you explain in only 3 days there have been princes, prime, and other ministers, emissaries, plus 2 presidents of world bodies guilty? So funny. Wish you were here." So he's saying guilty. He's laughing about Jews controlling the world and saying he's guilty of controlling the world. Draft emails? Okay, that's what it is. It's a draft. Okay. He talks a lot about Goyim too. It's really, I think that's maybe one of the biggest takeaways. All the Russia connections, but also and the Bill Gates thing too. It looks so bad on him.
I think the Bannon. For me personally, I was going through it myself, just manually for 2 hours. I'm waiting for this one database that has other emails to upload their version of this, that uploads it in a skin that's kind of like Gmail, right? So you can search emails that way. I'm waiting for that to really dig in myself. But what I was digging in last night, the relationship between Bannon and Epstein is far more, they were way closer than I had previously thought compared to some of this stuff. And what's really weird is they seem to be talking about, there's this underlying theme of they're talking about optics and they're talking about the alt-right in Charlottesville and things like that. It's very strange. And they're talking about far right politics in France, even and Europe. Basically, we can go over later, but Epstein talks about how Le Pen and the National Front and Russian money and things like that, right?
Funded by Russia, yeah. He also, the funny one is he shared a link to a TRS article about race and IQ to Noam Chomsky.
Yeah. I have that in the chat too. If you want to bring that up, too. That's pretty funny.
He's red pilling boomer leftist Noam Chomsky on the race realism, race and IQ. Where's that one? TRS. Here we go. So I basically explained it all the way, but here it is. To Noam Chomsky, the rightstuff.biz, race and IQ and genes that predict racial intelligence. And Epstein talked about this stuff too. There's another one where he talks about breeding blacks to raise their IQs or something like that, right?
Yeah. And then there's the other one where he says, if you scroll down on the list, Epstein based on Africa and Catholicism, I have a link where he talks.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that one in a second.
That's so good. But yeah, he seems to be like I mean, this is kind of known, right? He was kind of like a eugenicist in some ways, right? Like he actually like understood that. It's funny though, like Sean Last, the writer of that article, he made some comments about it, and Mike Enox made some comments about it. People are like trying to frame and blow this up. Like the far left is trying to blow it up as like, oh look, the whole alt-right was a psyop from the beginning, started by Epstein, which I like. That is the most ridiculous nonsense. Like just to suggest that.
It also came out that he was emailing the founder of 4chan, which is where QAnon and alt-right kind of brewed in 2015 or 2016, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there was Bannon, there was the Bannon connection, he's reading TRS, 25,000 to JFG, and then the 4chan thing. I mean,
right, but that's
there is a truth too. They utilize the alt-right to get racist and memers to support Trump and be the controlled opposition that thinks you're anti-Jewish, but ultimately ended up like, playing the role or filling, I don't know. It's weird too. If he was behind or involved with 4chan, which the guy denies it, of course, and then Ghislaine was like the top one on Reddit. It's like controlling both sides of the message board sphere.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think about it. I think this is just like more evidence that like Jews are like highly attracted to like I would say extremist or far left or far right politics, and like the idea that they would be interested or involved in any of that stuff shouldn't surprise anyone. And like all those things, like the Gamergate. If you just like think about the Gamergate, I don't think any degree did they influence that culture. Kind of probably won't ever know, but I don't think it's a huge influence or anything.
Okay. Peggy Siegel. So Epstein emailing with this Jewish Garrett.
Sent $5. Most people want abortion to be safe, legal, and rare, but Epstein likes it safe, legal, and medium rare.
Good one. That's hilarious.
Yeah, like this is very clearly Epstein. Like Epstein is clearly more linked to like the Russia sphere and Bannon and the Wexner, like that whole like crowd, more than what we previously thought. That's like the only interesting thing that really changed my mind on any of this stuff.
Oh yeah, tying the alt-right to Trump was the psyop and the smart one. So they take organic movements and then try to direct them, try to influence them, try to, that's undoubted. Okay, so here's Epstein emailing with Peggy Siegel. I forget who she was, some influential Jew. No, Goyim in abundance, he writes. She asked if there's going to be all Jews there. Oh, she goes, is it going to be 100% Jew night? Even the promo Goyim has some Goyim. I'm getting my media elite list FedExed out on Saturday. What about Charlie Rose, my best friend? Charlie Rose, that doesn't look good. Nothing like an ex-Jew hater with a Jewish boyfriend to mix it up. And then they joke, Goyim in abundance. So this is how Jewish billionaires talk, apparently, is just like referring us to as Goyim. It is the Jewish Yiddish term for nations or non-Jews. And it's also like, how popularized has the term become? Also, nobody wants to go to an all-Jew party, not even Jews. That's funny.
I bet you that's gonna basically. I mean, the word of the year in 2025 was slop, and that's just like derivative of goy slop, right? So. It wouldn't surprise me if like goy or goyim becomes the fucking year, the word of 2026 or something like that, unofficially.
So here's Epstein talking with, I think, Larry Summers. He says, I'm writing another anti-tax bill screed. I don't want to use rifle shot benefit of Virgin Island billionaires, but one examples of, he says, I don't know of any. They did a great job of closing most like tax loopholes, at least for the Goyim, he jokes. Jewish billionaires joking about how they have tax loopholes. The tax loopholes are closed for the Goyim. Isn't that revealing? It's like conspiracy theorists vindicated.
Yeah, it's funny.
And they probably a lot of them talk like this.
Oh yeah, I think that this is probably authentic. I think that a lot of them talk about it too. And it's almost like if you imagine yourself as Jewish, it makes total sense that they talk like this. Like, I mean,
What else are they supposed to call us? People? Like, sorry, but Goyim do act like Goyim. Like, it's their term for, like, the plebs, the masses, right?
Yeah, the peasants.
Yeah, the peasants. Yeah.
Yeah. It's doesn't surprise me.
This is the way Jews make money, short shipping stocks. Let the Goyim deal in the world. So there's another line from him. He says, this is the way the Jew make money and made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling the shipping futures. Let the Goyim deal in the real world. So they're willing to become billionaires on short selling and screwing over the Goyim and how that affects their lives.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, this is what the I mean, this should be the biggest takeaway, I think, for what, you know, what we talk about here and all that other stuff, is that like our concept or the idea that they are like Jewish supremacists, and that Jewish supremacy is based off the Bible, and that they do think people like this, and they do talk about people like this in private, and then they do like like they even realize like, oh, how many Goyim are going to be at this party and things like that. Like they really do have this worldview that's like them, where they other themselves, right? And
they're
like,
obsessively thinking about their separateness.
Oh yeah, they're separate. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't know. That's like the big takeaway I would say from this. That's the proof positive, like the Jewish angle to this, but certainly not evidence of drinking blood or anything.
Right. Epstein confirms he is.
That is how. Real quick, that is how so many of them made their money too. Like if you look at the history of like centralized banking and like the stock markets and things like that, like, you know, you can look at essentially them like shorting. Like they would short wars basically. They would bet on rulers who they thought would win the war, and they would do money manipulation and currency manipulation based on that. And that's been going on since. I mean, that's been going on since basically the Crusades. I would say is like really where you can point at that being that going on, like the Crusades onwards, basically them betting instead of like on businesses or on the stock exchange, they were like betting on rulers in the same way to manipulate currency that way. So this is basically how they have always made their money.
Here's a breaking up letter to Josh. Is that what it says? Josh? I thought this was to a girl, but anyway, he says, it's simple. You behave just like the Goyim you do not respect. So they don't respect Goyim, and they use acting like a Goyim as an insult. We've known this.
Did you see the subject line? Did you see the subject line?
No, what was it?
Yacht slut.
Oh, that's the one below it. That's Goyim in abundance. Oh, no, maybe that one is. Yeah.
Regardless, that's still the subject of one of their emails.
Yeah. And the Goyim in general know how to have a good time. To Barry Zelen. Oh, well, that's nice. Goyim know how to have fun and entertain. They love their goytainment. They Goyim Max. Obviously a polite Goyim. Wow, they really just do it all the time. Is this more? What's this? Okay. Epstein confirms he is Jewish and his 615 relatives are all Jewish. And he says he has 2 recessive genes that cause hyper fucking. That is.
It probably checks out.
Dude, is that a joke or is he serious? Anyway. But they don't do, there's no genetic test. You can't do Jews can't do DNA tests because they're not Jews. They're secret Khazarians. No, these actually Jews are obsessed with doing DNA tests, and they do them all the time. 2 recessive genes that cause hyperfucking. That's Pretty funny. Pretty gross and sick and Jewish perverted. Actually, Jewish Epstein jokes that maybe he's not really Jewish because he had a friend that provided him no economic benefit. Little self-deprecating humor here. I will make the intro. I greatly respect friendship. I need no economic incentive or participation. Maybe I'm not Jewish. Good one.
It's fucking hilarious.
What's funny too is like Maria Farmer said this is how they talk. They're always speaking down about Goyim and their Jewish supremacists, and they called her an anti-Semite for this.
914 sent $5 on Rumble. Yachts are the best.
Yeah, dude. I feel like Epstein is just like Clavicular and the yacht sluts in Miami. Yacht sluts. Okay. What are we expecting? I thought that's what billionaire playboys were known for, is yacht sluts. Like if we're at what's the game where they say a thing and you have to hit the button? Family Feud. You're on Family Feud.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is a playboy Jewish billionaire's favorite thing? Go. Yacht sluts. Shiksas. Shiksa yachts. Okay. Anyway, here's Maria Farmer talking about how they spoke about Goyim, and she's completely vindicated on this now that we see the emails.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. This is how this woman spoke to me. Yeah. This is how these people think, Whitney. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's. I swear to you. It was a theme all the time with them. With Eileen Guggenheim, with, Jeffrey Epstein, with...
Probably the Rothschilds, too. He's very close with the Rothschilds. A lot of the emails with the Rothschilds.
With Ghislaine. It was a theme. Jeffrey was a lot less horrible than Ghislaine as far as a human being, like just being around, because she was raping just as many children.
So the country club, you weren't allowed to go because it was
know.
only for, people of a certain religion
Jewish
and
people.
Ethnicity. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
Religious.
unfortunate.
Yeah, that is funny, Nightwolf, that they're always talking about that they're not allowed at the white country clubs.
I mean, they could cut you down, and it was so morally devastating. You just felt useless as a human being when you were told you're nothing because you're not Jewish, you're stupid, you're useless, a useless white girl, a poor little peasant. Just the things that I was called, I was just like,
Peasant.
I believe.
He just subscribed on Rumble.
Thank you, Shannon.
Because it was like a cult, the problem. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the way Jeffrey and Ghislaine spoke about African Americans. It was like, it made my skin crawl. Anybody who was not Jewish, and you're right about this, but the way they spoke about them, it was really horrifying. And it showed me a great deal about how these people truly believe that they're chosen to do something here. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me. And it was every one of them, the way they spoke. And one time I heard Isabel say...
Every one of them, the way they spoke. Even the commissioner of the NBA was talking like that. We'll show that one in a second, too. He said, waiting in the lobby is for Goyim.
Of her mother, Eileen. Mom, why
He's
do you
probably
call
right,
her...
though.
It is. Have you been to a casino lobby? It's very Goyish.
It is for, I was going to say, there's a lot of Goyim around in that area.
Yeah.
Buddy? And she said, honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Jews are right. The Goyim are mostly retarded.
This is their religion too, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyone who's surprised about this is what their religion tells them. And then what's happened is it's an ethnic group, it's a religion, or it's an ethno-religious group who's been following this religion and following this for so long that it's now part of it's part of their biology. It's built into their culture at this point.
Yeah, built into the culture.
It's their natural behavior. What happens even when they're not? Look, Jeffrey Epstein. He's obviously quoting Torah and stuff like that. But from my understanding, he wasn't a member of any synagogue or anything like that, right? So it's not you know what I mean. So you have to understand that this is a full issue that's not just in this small limited scope.
I saw one of the emails. He wrote $1,000 check to Chabad. And there's an email where the Chabad rabbi of the Virgin Islands down there, by Little St. James, sent him an email saying, I heard you were very generous. I'd like to meet you. But I don't know if that ever materialized. I didn't see any other emails on that
That
thread.
type of stuff I might actually include just because the Maxwell family have
You
ties
should
to
include
this
it.
group
You
that's,
should include it.
What's it called? Chabad Lubavitch.
I love how she says you should include it. She's talking to Whitney. And then when I took this interview and cut up all the parts of her talking about their Jewish supremacistness, she called me an anti-Semite and said I took her out of context when I didn't. But she was getting sued by Dershowitz, and he was calling her an anti-Semite in his defense.
And group
got it.
openly talks about how only Jews are human and the rest of human beings.
Yeah, we got it. They talk about that too. Here's the next one. Epstein and Mark Fisher have a conversation on the difference between a Jewish and non-Jewish soul.
Yeah, this is just straight from Zohar type stuff, right? Like, this is just standard medieval Judaism, by the way, like Jewish mysticism. This is what they believe, or this is what a lot of them believe.
So Mark Fisher to Epstein. Thought about our conversation. A Jewish soul has a very different structure, different ingredients and components, relates to its higher levels differently, has different higher levels, relates to itself and other people's in a different manner than a non-Jewish soul. To use repair meditation, you can't fix an Aston Martin with a Ford pickup tool set. They're comparing Jewish souls to Aston Martin and Goyish souls to Ford pickups. Wow.
That is the most like funny way of doing the, like they compared it to animals back in the old world, and now today they're comparing it to cars. It's fucking hilarious, actually.
The Rebbe did not say.
And then Christians will take that like change in like the change in their rhetoric or whatever, like an update of their rhetoric, and they'll be like, "See, it's not even like the same religion." When all they did was take like a funny, like a twist of like a concept that's older, and like that's all that they always. That's what they always constantly are doing. That's just like reiterating on the Torah.
The Rebbe did not say exactly what's the soul of a non-Jew. He didn't talk about it. He just said a non-Jew does not have a godly soul like the Jew. That's all he said. The Rebbe did not say.
No, I thought the Rebbe said it comes from the 3 satanic spheres of the Sephirot. That's not true. And the Tanya book says that our souls come from the Sitra Achra, the dark evil other side. Okay. NBA Commissioner David Stern discusses orgies with Epstein in 2014. So the top guy that runs the NBA to Epstein, he says, unless you want me to come over before for any reason, orgies, etc. Like they probably had orgies, right? He's having orgies with the head of the NBA.
These people have like unlimited money. I think it's just like naive to think that they're not. And I think it's like naive to think that basically like this has not been going on forever. Like every elite class or elite group of people who have unlimited wealth at the top of any society have always been like decadent and sexually promiscuous. And I mean, like, please point to me a time period when this was not happening. It's always been happening. Pretending that it hasn't is not to defend it or whatever, but people have to put some perspective on it, you know?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's all that surprised that billionaire elite are having orgies with models. Like that's to be expected.
Like, oh my
pretty
God,
much.
Crazy! Breaking news.
Yeah, but there's blackmail going on here too. If he's doing orgies with Epstein and he's married and he's got a high profile thing, like he's on board. He's part of the club. So this is very, very, very real. I don't know any debunk of this. He'll say it's a joke. It's like, it's not funny unless it's true, though. Right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Especially if it's 2014, right? So when was the charges that he had? I forget what year it was. Off the top of my head. I had to look it up.
What were his charges? They were the new guy's a Jew, too.
No, I'm just saying, like, what year were his charges? Because this email's in 2014.
Oh,
right?
Epstein's charges.
Yeah. What
Right.
year was it? I forget. Look.
Orgies, that's crazy. All right. And then also he talked
2006 and 2019 he was charged again. So this was before the 2019 one.
Okay. Shoot. I don't have the other one. I got to find it. There's so many more of these interesting ones.
Wait,
But
which one are you talking about?
You know what's not in these though? Like, oh, Pizzagate 100% confirmed,
Well,
and eating babies and drinking and so worshiping the devil. That's not in here.
I wouldn't say the Pizzagate thing quite yet. I'm going to pump my brakes on that because Breaking Points, while we've been on, put down a video on their YouTube titled "Pizza Code Words Littered Throughout the Epstein Files." And it's a 20 or 15-minute video that's going over a bunch of them. And I'm just kind of like skimming through the video while we're talking here, like looking at some of the emails they're bringing up. And I could see how some of these might be some of that code usage.
Code for prostitutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's one of them that's like very obviously like they're talking about Victoria's Secret models and talking about them in these types of coded words. Like it's very obvious that's what they're talking about. I'm just kind of skimming through this stuff. So there might have been some of that going on for sure, but I don't know to what degree.
Okay, here's people say Pizzagate is real. I'll concede that they're doing stuff with prostitutes. Some of them very likely, definitely underage to blackmail or because people are into that type of thing, but the idea that like they're worshiping the devil and eating children. Oh, I'm sorry. I got alarms going off. Yeah. Pizza being a code word for prostitutes or sex stuff like that. I agree. Okay. That's plausible. But to leap from that to they worship the devil and they're eating children is a whole huge leap. And in fact, that is what makes it so kooky that they actually get away with the real stuff. That's the way I see it. The Pizzagate was like a QAnon, Trump shilling, anti-Clinton psyop for the most part, if you ask me. Pushed by like Jack Posobiec, the same guy that has the Epstein binder, Phase 1.
Garrett sent $5. Wouldn't
and Alex Jones.
The plural/singular and say a polite goy instead of a polite goyim. Also, Epstein misspelled anti-Semitic as anti-Semitic.
Epstein spelled and his grammar was like I'm kind of like this in a way where I have to correct myself because I type so poorly. I have to autocorrect and things like that sometimes. And he very clearly doesn't have any of that stuff going on. He misspelled so many words, and his sentence structure and grammar. Like you know, I watched that full interview and I've been kind of like analyzing what's been going on the last couple of days about it. And you know, I thought that he was, you know, I don't think he's like a dumb person or whatever, but I definitely don't think he is as smart as people think he was. Like some sort of like, you know, prodigy or anything like that. I think he's just like a normal level of intelligence for someone at his level. You know, I don't think.
Okay, so here's David Stern again too. He says, "How can I go to the Milken conference without paying entrance fees? It's sold out." And then last time Merkin took me, and he said, "Just go and hang out in the lobby." And he said, "That's for the goyim." Dude, it's so crazy.
That's that's funny. It's just funny. I mean, like just seeing them talk like this. I don't know. The reaction to this shouldn't be like, oh, they talk like that. Therefore, by the way, like, oh, we now justify all this stuff. We have to like be measured in our response and like be accurate in how we describe this stuff because like look, like guys, I don't know what to tell you, but like our people aren't rabid dogs. They're not into like acting like animals. So when you paint your enemies with lies and things like that are just like inaccurate, like our response to this has to be like very accurate, you know what I mean, and measured, not
it's not the problem isn't so much that they call us goy, it's more like what they think of goy. Like goy, that's the word that they have for non-Jews, so it's not like inherently a bad word, but it's more like their attitudes towards the goyim that is the issue. That's how I see it. Like, I'm not surprised at all that Jews are using the term goyim. Like, I see rabbis saying it all the time.
Yeah. And it's like...
I use it all the time.
Yes, for sure. And it's just like, it's just proof of the way that they view themselves, right? So they want everyone to be universalist, but for themselves, they're going to act like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeffrey Epstein reiterated his no blacks policy to Aryan Rothschild. Not African, serious people, preferably some Jews. Not African.
Hilarious. Do you have the Catholic one too? The Catholic one is so funny.
Hold on. Peggy Siegel brags about 2 Jews cornering the Russian market on aluminum, and now they own a big boat. This is how the yacht slut conversation
That's
got
how they
started.
all. That's so funny. That's how they all are.
Wilhelm
Yeah.
sent $5
By the way.
on Rumble. Strange times we're living in. Maybe it's a thing to say nowadays, but I don't want to be anti-Semitic, but I am against pedophilia and C abuse. Face with peeking eye emoji.
Sure. Yeah. I guess it's anti-Catholic too, apparently, to be anti-pedophile. That's an anti-Catholic trope. All right, appreciate that. So what do they say here? Syrian Jews who cornered the Russian market on aluminum and have a gorgeous boat. It's funny how they just say that like they're proud of it. They're proud of Jews.
That's how they make all their.
cornering the
I mean, this is how they've been
market.
making.
But if
their money
we
for
say
so
that
long.
we're anti-Semitic and it's a made-up conspiracy, but they can brag about. They call us goyim. They brag about cornering markets in foreign countries.
doing insider trading, like
Yeah.
they basically like are running like the international
Yeah.
markets and like making money off the like skimming money off the top, and like that's where they derive their wealth. from.
Loopholes only for Jews, not for the goyim. Tax loopholes.
And then they're like, what? What do you want? What do you mean? Oh, you're just mad because we're better than you. Like that's it's ridiculous.
Okay. Next we have. Oh, this is just me correcting the bail lie. I like this idea. Epstein's a real Ashkenazi IQ here. In 2015 email, Epstein mentions bioengineering pigs with non-cloven hooves to create a kosher bacon. Jews are ridiculous, says Zerka. That's $1 million idea if I've ever heard one.
Oh yeah, that's.
Could you
a great idea
imagine
for them.
having a
Could you imagine?
kosher
Yeah.
bacon
Oh my gosh, they
that
would
tastes
love
like the real thing?
it.
Oh, dude, Jews would. They'd be the rabbis would be like, "That's not kosher." No, they would. They're allowed to loophole God.
This is the other thing too. Like I got to point this out. Like this is how Jews are thinking, guys. Like they're thinking about doing this kind of stuff, like genetically engineering pigs so that they can consume them. And then we got like people on our side that are like, oh, we're just gonna move to the country and we're just gonna live. Hey guys, you just have to be nice and peaceful and like all this other stuff. Like, dude, you guys, we have to create like a counter elite to this where we're thinking of things like this, like some fucking evil villain shit. Because there's no way you can just like combat what's going on and like they're like death grip on the world by just like going out in the woods and hanging out. Like I get it. Like if you got a family and all that other stuff, I totally get it. But like we need like a counter elite to this that is not retreating to like, fucking not to talk shit too much, but like to like return to the land type things. Like it's just that's not the solution to our problem. Like that's not the golden bullet or the silver bullet for this. The silver bullet is a counter elite that's thinking just like this. They're thinking of genetically engineered pigs, guys. Like, come on.
There's it's funny the way Jews think. Here Epstein explains that not listening to Jews about money is silly.
Oh, you might be right about that.
Not listening to
one.
Jews about money is silly. Yeah. Dugan is, according to Jeffrey Epstein, quote, quite useful.
Oh, yeah. It makes total sense, too, right?
Let's see. This is 2014. Have you ever heard of Alexander Dugin, one of Putin's advisors? If not, reading about him and his views might be interesting and perhaps quite useful. Huh, that's not a good look, huh, Dugan? Epstein thinking that you're useful. What's he talking to his Mossad contact here? Are you useful to Mossad, Dugan? What, with your anti-Western controlled op?
Well, I mean, it's just also very clear how Dugan has been like a very successful like op for Russia's purposes, right? Like it's like just subjectively true. You know what I mean? So it makes sense, and not just Russia's purposes, but just like that whole like elite sphere. Like I mean, yes, you could call it like Likudnik, like Chabad, like the Rush, like that whole axis. If there's one person that's been helpful to them as far as like ideological framing goes, it's obviously Dugan is in the lead there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Epstein was apparently close to Putin.
It's so crazy.
Epstein was a confidant of Putin, and Putin's mentioned like 1,000 times in the files.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I got to like reread. I've read Dugan and I've read like Fourth Political Theory and things like that. And I didn't like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm a Duganist or anything like that. I just read it like because it was interesting and other people around me were reading it. So I might have to reread it to see, under this lens, like what's in there. Cause I've never really applied, this type of thinking to them or to that book before.
There was also an email where they're discussing a war between Jews and whites, and it said Jews winning. I forget what that was. But yeah, interesting also. Hey, Alex, your buddy Bannon, you've been promoting each other and working together. He was very close with Epstein. Dugan, also your buddy who you've been promoting a whole lot and cross-promoting with. Also useful to Epstein. He has a new video out I just saw. The war that Jews are in with whites, Christians in the West. I want to see what they say, if there's some Edom talk in there and what kind of spin is on it. Okay, Dugan quite useful. This is the funniest one in here. Epstein opposed Bill Gates' humanitarian effort of Africa and said that the idea every life is equal is Catholicism at its worst.
So true.
Dude, let's see this. So Epstein says, I don't want him to ask me to support his African causes. He only asks and pontificates and offers us little but his paternal advice. I don't give a shit. Subjects we don't really give a shit about. He wants a favor asking me to contribute. What favor have I ever asked him for? I'm sure he is tired of being asked for money. Why should he now put the shoe on the other foot? He is brilliant, and so is Warren. I suppose Buffett, maybe? Can't they come up with a better foundation structure and goal than to make the ludicrous statement that every life is equal? Is so then give each one of the billion kids $1 for food every year, save a billion lives. It is Catholicism at its worst. He is tech genius. No, it's true Catholicism, actually. He is a tech genius. Do you see any of that in Foundation? He is a mini World Bank with new health ideas. All right. He gets it.
Oh, yeah, new health ideas. That's what we can call Bill Gates, right?
Yeah. Common
Very
Epstein
cool, new
W.
health ideas.
Heil Chow sent $10 on Rumble. Hello Adam. I just bought the book from. Almost finished with Carriers. Gonna read yours before Scribina's.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw people were buying the book. I just made the book live, the product live and for sale on No More News late last night. I wasn't going to advertise it until tomorrow, but I see some of you are already checking on the site and buying it, so I appreciate that, and I'll get those out to you ASAP. And it should be available on Amazon by tomorrow for the big book release stream.
And that whoever just put that in I have Carrier's. I bought Carrier's new book. I went right to the chapter on oh my god, I can't think of the word. Docetism. I went right to the chapter on Docetism and I read that. I still have to read through the whole thing. And now that your book's coming out, I'm gonna have to read. I mean, I know I've read a lot of it, but I'm gonna read that and then hit Carrier's new book too, because there's a lot in there from the interviews and things like that I've seen.
I want to get his new one at some point also.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm sold on his concept on the Docetism thing yet. I definitely understand his argument and I get it, but I'm not 100% there yet. I'd like to see some counter arguments and things like that for it.
Dude, talk about the Catholic L. Catholics getting mocked by Epstein on the Africa humanitarian efforts.
I mean, it's just objectively
so
true, right? Like,
no, dude, all God's children. Mark and John, thank you.
I'm going to do a Jewish ritual like the Rebbe did. I bless these $50 so the book picks up and catches fire.
Yeah.
Make the green pill become mainstream.
Dude, maybe I have to go visit the Rebbe's grave so that my book is a bestseller. I'll go kiss the wall if my book is a #1 New York Times bestseller. Deal, Jews? We'll make a deal. Okay. Edom, no, I couldn't go with the big nose on Jesus on the cover of the book. Yo, John, thank you.
$50, Adam. Congratulations on the book launch. Need a 100 copies to pass out to all the churches around here.
Maybe I can work out some type of like 10-pack deal or something and ship in a box and do a 10-pack for a discount if you want to hand them out to churches. Churches aren't going to read those, though. Pastors aren't going to read it. Maybe, I don't know, you'd have to like challenge them to debunk it or something. Pose as a Christian and say, try to get them to debunk it. and then they'll read it.
I know some pretty hardcore Christians and pastors and priests that I've talked to about this topic, and told them about this book coming out and things like that. And they've agreed with me to read it, even though they obviously heavily disagree with it. So we'll see. So I know some that, because I've been arguing with them about this kind of stuff for, years now, I guess, like 2 or 3 years, about Paul never saw Jesus, and I have to go through all those things, and then, you know what I mean? So I definitely know
what Midrash is. The Midrash is the key to understanding what
it's mostly me teaching them is what ends up happening, right? So this book, we'll see how this goes. For them anyway.
That's why the subtitle is a mystical midrashic myth, the Jesus deception, a mystical midrashic myth, because the traditional exegesis method of midrash is key to understanding who, why, and how it was all put together.
Yeah.
Right. The super PAC, right. Okay, here's Epstein and his brother talking about the Black Congressional Caucus. Epstein writes, I know how to handle them. I would have came in and said, hey there, N-words, with the hard R. Dude, Epstein is... Are they putting this out as a psyop to try to make everybody support him with lines like this?
Funny. That is pretty funny.
Okay, there's more. In leaked email, Epstein discussed genetically engineering black people to make them smarter, discussing how whites had evolutionary pressures that rewarded long-term thinking over rapid muscle development.
$3.57 sent $5. It would be really interesting to see Adam and Devin have a conversation about the satanic panic.
Yeah, I'll try to do something with Devin soon. I've been thinking about doing that. He says, you might be able to make blacks smarter by changing the time for motor layer development and changing the time for other layers like telomeres for the cell. All are there equivalents for the layers, as you talked about, culling the unused neurons? Their brains are slower at higher level concepts. Dude, he's just so bell curve.
He's so into the race science stuff. It's fun. Did you see that study that recently came out that kind of like tries to debunk like the thing that like the higher you up are and like northern, the more north you are, the more intelligent you are as a like that evolutionary principle. It's a whole study that tries to like debunk and look at that. I think it's funny that basically now we're in a time where like these types of studies are being done and like actually like debated, and even within the elites they're even knowing about it and debating it. And what's really crazy about that, I would say, is Russia is not doing that type of stuff. Because of who they are and how they are, they're like against this stuff as like a principle, I would say. But who is like China. China is doing a ton of research into genetics and altering genetics and designer babies and things like that.
Oh, we should have eugenic super brain programs where they're breeding 100%. The best brains with the best brains. All of it, actually.
100%. Yeah.
It would be immoral not to.
Well, that's the argument I was just going to make. So, like, they do this with AI. They say, like, oh, if we don't invest in AI and spend our whole GDP and all of our investing in AI, then we're going to lose to China and Russia, who's developing their version of AI. Like that's their argument. I don't think that that's true at all for AI. I understand the argument. I really do get it. I don't think that it's worth us like basically like killing ourselves to invest in AI technology for that. However, like what you just said, kind of like genetic, I don't know, you could call it eugenics, you call it whatever you want, like a breeding program where we're like selecting for the best traits, that is something we should be investing in, and that if we don't, we're going to get crushed by China. I mean, all it's going to take for them is to have one generation of like design, like super intelligent designer babies raised in like some sort of X-Men mansion, and like we could actually be facing like a serious problem. You know what I mean? Like genetically engineered Chinese people is that could be the problem that our grandchildren are
super soldiers, genetic super soldiers.
Well,
it's funny, right? Epstein like talking about
smart people.
What's the theory called about like white people surviving harsh winters, and that's why they have they're smarter. He was saying that too. That seems evolutionarily plausible.
Yeah. I've always thought that was a true thing and plausible thing as well. But like I said, there's just like a study that kind of like looked at that like across the board and like did like you would think that like people within genetic groups and stuff like that, like it kind of like debunks that idea a little bit, shows that the correlation isn't as strong as you'd think. That's all I was saying. So I don't know.
Mensa Dating Club. There you go. This is funny from Ubersoy, who I think is part Jewish. He says, the final red pill is realizing that Goyim stupidity plays a far bigger role in Jewish supremacy than Jewish cleverness. Exactly. Goyim stupidity falling for Jewish myths. Main way, I would say. Okay, Epstein in public interview says blacks are just as smart as whites. And in private email, he says, more N-words equals more murder. Duh. Again, so funny. Subject, stop gun crime. His solution to stopping gun crime right there. Banning blacks.
He's like, he could have been hanging out with Joel Davis and the boys down in Australia back, doing their protest.
Dude. I think that the major takeaway from this Epstein dump is that people are going to think Epstein was more based than they knew, and that the third worlder Christ cucks on the internet are more retarded liars than we imagined. That's how I'm feeling. The stupid dumb goy. I'm sympathizing with the Jews and all these dumb goy that want to bow down to the Moshiach as the solution to the secret Baal worshippers. Anyway, let's see this.
There's this argument.
This is from the interview with Bannon, that apparently there's like 20 hours of it or 18 hours, and this is only 2 that they leaked. I didn't watch any of it besides these little clips. Did you? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched a bunch of clips of it. There's some interesting parts, but a lot of it, I think the biggest takeaway that I've seen outside of like the Jewish supremacism thing is, Epstein and Bannon were really close. So I almost feel like a lot of this was like Trump's dragging his heels on this was related to that fact. You know what I'm saying? Like the Russian connection and the Bannon connection. If there's any kind of cover up from Trump, it was that kind of stuff. I think. You know what I mean? Like it's just not helpful for him to that his top guy is basically like buddy with Epstein. You know what I mean?
There's this argument that I reject, that black people are less intelligent than white people. It's not true.
I reject.
We know, for example, that if I was in the forest and I had to run from the lion or figure out a way not to be eaten, and my competition is a local African, I'm the one who's getting eaten, because they have the intelligence. There's this
great argument. He's just totally lying. This isn't even the right tweet to show, though. Banning and gun crime. You should have done the other one that said that straight up said their brains are slower at higher learning concepts. Okay. There's the one with David Stern, the Goyim. Jewish supremacy, we did that one. Okay, now here's some off of the race stuff. Email to Epstein suggests Ghislaine Maxwell's father was suicided.
Werewolf Brigade 1.
Thank you, Werewolf Brigade.
By 1 now.
Awesome. He was Johan. All right, everybody's getting their books.
Let's freaking go.
All right. I hope some of you get them on Amazon, too, just to help the algo over there. But ideally, it is better to get it from the website, probably. Winter study debunking that idea. Okay. Uncorrelated. Oh, it sounded good to me. All right.
Yeah, like I said, this is something I've always believed, but I just wanted to cite my source there because I'm not just talking out my ass on it.
Yeah, the cold winters theory.
I looked at it, but we'll see.
It could be diet,
high
fish, high meat, high
just like distinct, right? Like we're obviously distinct in our own unique way, and the way our brain is structured is the important part, is different than other people. Every group's brains are structured differently, right? So to what degree ours like produces more intelligent or less intelligent people being a function of like our geography isn't actually like important to the argument that we're making. We're just making the argument that, we are genetically distinct, and by being distinct group, like we have the right to, keep going as a group. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to. So we don't need to make the winter argument type thing is, my takeaway from it. But
yeah, true.
I always have thought that was true. You know what I mean? I always thought that was true too until I read this the other day.
Instigator says if you buy from Amazon, leave a review. True. Reviews and stars, 5 stars, are very important on Amazon.
I'm gonna
Okay,
wait
so
to buy
they
mine from
said
Amazon.
Ghislaine Maxwell, he was passed away in an email suggesting his father was suicided for threatening Mossad $400 million or exposes all he'd done for them. And then his nude body was found floating in the ocean after accidental drowning off his yacht. Epstein routinely exchanged disturbing porn links with his circle. Who was it shared dirty teen clips? That's some old school porn. Look at that, a screenshot of it? Hold on. Okay, no porn on the screen. All right, there was also an email where Epstein is talking with Rothschild about how a Harvard class is saying something about Hitler attending some type of food shelter for homeless veterans that was funded by an Epstein and Rothschilds. And Jay Dyer dishonestly is claiming that this vindicates his idea that the Rothschilds were running Hitler, when in reality, Rothschild is scoffing at the idea, calling it a, quote, pathetic conspiracy theory that they funded him to destroy Europe, or, whatever people are saying online. And Jay Dyer, the lying Christian Russian propagandist, says he's vindicated. It's like, did you even read it? It says it's a... They also write, what was the line? It said that he was... Yeah, Rothschild says that the generosity goes unrewarded. Right? So if anything, these leaked or these released emails of Rothschild would go against the theory that Rothschilds were behind Hitler. But this fraud Jay Dyer is acting like, oh, it vindicates him saying that.
Yeah, and then he did a space, and anybody who came up and explained this to him, he just threw them, he screened them down, shut them down, and muted them and threw them out. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
I listened to it for like 20 minutes, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was going to go in myself, but I don't know.
So they're saying it's true that Hitler was, when he was a starving artwork, a painter and living in a shelter, it was funded by Jews, Epstein, Rothschild, and Gutman. No conspiracy. The Epsteins were the Vienna bankers, bought their bank on the ring. Okay, so that's irrelevant, I think, to that. And then she says, whether it's a way to say that generosity is not rewarded or that a conspiracy theory still exists is quite pathetic. Rothschild calls it a pathetic conspiracy theory, and that Jews funding shelters that Hitler took advantage of when he was younger, claiming that this is proof and that you're vindicated like Jay Dyer tried to do, is such bullshit. It's like, how stupid do you think everybody is that they can't read this? Okay, are you vindicated? Is he trying to claim like, oh, he's only vindicated that Hitler was at a shelter, which I don't know if he's even ever said that, right? But
yeah, no, that is what he says. I've watched his video on Hitler.
Oh, that's one of his arguments?
Yeah, it's basically that like the Rothschilds funded Hitler through like propping him up during this time period. Yeah. And I think our own side does this constantly too. Like everyone does this. They take things like this where like, oh, like basically like what could be random occurrences and just coincidences, and they turn it into a whole thing, right? Like this is crazy. The idea that because like how many other poorhouses were funded by Rothschild at that time, right? Like these guys were known philanthropy. Like the whole concept that, oh, because someone stayed at a house funded by this group, now we're just going to weave this whole narrative of like, oh, they were supporting them secretly the whole time.
As if that means like, they funded his whole rise like
we have to
over 20 years.
Yes, dude, that type of thinking right there is actually just like, it's really poisonous to like, it's so poisonous to discern reality through that lens. It's basically impossible to like figure out what the hell is actually going on in the world if that's how you think. It's not.
Chat's even saying it's actually disputed that the Rothschilds even funded or owned that shelter also.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen people showing that too. That basically like what it was is like the Rothschilds put their money into like a mutual pool of money, and then this pool of money was distributing to them, right? So it would be like saying, oh, USAID was funding this, therefore like, oh look, like that, like, oh look, like some private citizen that or some group, philanthropy group that donates to USAID, and then USAID funds that thing. Oh, look, that group funds that thing. It's not really the same thing. You know what I mean? Like that basically the government was like, or not just the government, but also private organizations together in partnership with their government. We're like using proto NGOs is I guess how you would describe it, to like do those types of poorhouses. So the whole thing is just ridiculous.
It's just crazy to me that they're going to take Rothschild calling it a pathetic conspiracy theory, and that the Jews' generosity that Hitler benefited from when he was younger was not rewarded, and they're gonna spin this into supposed proof. Dude, Dyer is so dishonest. Look, this is what it said too. So, I thought you'd find amusing that a Harvard class on Hitler, they told the story of when he was so poor. He lived in a shelter for the homeless and destitute and had been financed by 3 wealthy families, the Gutmans, the Epsteins, and the Rothschilds. It turns out to be accurate. Hold on. There was another one, too, that said something about, there's another part of this thread that said that the conspiracy is that they funded Hitler to destroy Europe or something like that. Where's that one? Anyway, I saw Dyer post this, and all the replies were saying that they're like, did you read it? Like, you're lying about what it says.
So I totally forgot about this. I just remember all this. So I looked into this a long time ago before too. A part of the somebody just posted this in chat, and I just re-looked it up. Part of what is going on here too is this like poorhouse was underneath the watch of Franz Joseph, who was the Austro-Hungarian Empire, right? And it was under his a Jubilee program. And the whole concept was like charitable works for the poor that was essentially like a reaction against rising revolutionaries in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This was like basically them trying to reduce inequalities. And essentially it was done under the concept of like Christians and like liberals and Jews, like basically all of the upper echelons of society coming together to fund those types of things because of the rising inequality and revolutions in Austria-Hungary. Like that was the whole purpose of it, was this like all those institutions coming together to like team up against like the rising, peasant class trying to like overthrow them. Essentially, that's what the whole purpose of it was.
I was wondering that. Instigator in the chat says that it's in Mein Kampf that the shelter thing. So that's how they know about it, is he wrote about it, which I kind of suspected, because it's like, how else would they know that he stayed at that place? But look at how it's even worse than I said too. Rothschild, I believe here, says, I know it's true, but regularly used to say that Rothschilds planned and supported Hitler in a mass destruction to gain more power. So they're saying that they're taking a true thing, but that it's used to blame Rothschilds, and that it's a pathetic conspiracy theory. And Jay Dyer goes, vindicated. No, you're a fucking liar. And this is typical Christian shit. They take something, they spin it, they twist it, and they act like it's proof.
Yeah, these people don't really. I'm kind of like obsessed with what I would call like the Franz Joseph era of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That's like where my family was from, and I'm like really into the history there. And they're just totally ignoring all the history and all the things, because they actually don't know any of this. That essentially, like, the Austro-Hungarian Empire basically was like falling apart at the seams, and this was seen as a way of fixing that. And then they're taking it and like, well, look, the Jews control the world, based off of like. Like a 1900s, like basically like early welfare program. It's just ridiculous.
Dude, look at this. Tucker Carlson just interviewed some kook about the supernatural and giants and pyramids and remote viewing. Why do they try so hard to convince the rest of us it's not real? We are being inundated with propaganda, Jewish propaganda, about the spiritual war. Look at this. Look at these topics with this guy, who I don't even know who this guy is.
Or a solar event or whatever it is.
Some kooky New Age Christian, it looks like. What is this? Is there evidence of the Great Flood? You know they're going to say yes. Remote viewing and CIA? Did we land on the moon? How were the pyramids built? Giants? Science community won't admit when it's wrong. Every day, it's pseudoscience Jewish bullshit being shoveled by Tucker Carlson. the Russia hack. Okay, here we go. New York Post and Daily Mail reporting new theory about who Jeffrey Epstein was really working for. I'm pretty sure that Jeremy Rothkushel was on the show and talked about Epstein, and he was talking about all of his Russia connections. Epstein's sex empire was a KGB honey trap.
Real Vision sent $5 on Rumble. This debunks schizo as well.
Pedophile financier had multiple talks with Putin after conviction. With Russian girls flown in to harvest compromat on world famous figures. So we're going to cover, and apparently there was a meeting with Ehud Barak and Epstein. But what is he talking about? He says Putin asked that he meet him in St. Petersburg. He also claims Putin told him that Zelensky was ran by Israel. But it's like, so you're telling me that Epstein and Putin were close? That Putin's confiding in him details like that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I want to look more into the Putin thing. I basically want to read every single email about Putin. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet because I want to form my own opinion on that.
The context does matter. Just because he's in there a lot, like it could be in there a lot, and they're enemies. I'm not saying that's the case, but
yeah, I want to read the whole thing. Like I said, I want to wait until that one. There's this one tool that puts it in like a Gmail like skin UI where you can like search the emails and query them as if it's like your own Gmail inbox. And when that comes out, I'm just gonna go through line by line of the Putin stuff. It's too hard to do in the UI they have right now.
So here's the Russian stuff. Yeah, it wasn't searching well. They're scanning messed stuff up.
Annoying.
Epstein files suggest that Marie Le Pen and France's National Front are largely propped up by Russian money. Yeah, have I not been saying that there's all types of nationalist groups that are Russian fronts and Russian-controlled opposition? Epstein wrote in 2014 to Rothschild, quote, Ukraine upheaval should provide many opportunities. That's how elites discuss crisis in private. You know, to be fair, this is how investors and people that play the stock market talk about any world event as opportunities to make money on the stock market and investments.
Yeah,
this doesn't mean that they're behind the coup.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting mad because they're just like seeing how the sausage is made. You know what I mean? It's like low IQ, midway people.
Yep.
You know,
every investor talks like this. Oh, this is happening in the news. Oh, big opportunities there. Whether it goes up, whether it goes down, there's always opportunities. You know, big. Sorry, there's like a little bug flying around in here. Any big world geopolitical event, investors are trying to make money off it. But the Russian propagandists are trying to spin this as if like Epstein's behind the coup or something. That's what they're doing. Let's see. Like Luke Radowski, look. He says the Ukraine war is a CIA Epstein Rothschild creation. Oh, it's not Russia invading Ukraine because Dugin hates Ukrainians and they've wanted to take back Ukraine for a long time. It's not that. It's all blaming the West. Okay, what does he say here? Epstein and someone from the Rothschild family discussed the coup in Ukraine. Everybody was discussing what was going on in Ukraine. Discussing what's happening in Ukraine is not proof that you are engineering it or you are behind it. Luke Radowski, who's a big Russia shill, who's working with Tim Pool, who was on that tenant payroll from the Russia money. Opportunities. All right. Anyway, that's one of the angles. Also, Epstein lived in the Vatican with Pope John Paul II, assistant says. When he was living with Pope John Paul II in the Vatican, he's photographed meeting the Pope. Also, this is Epstein's Richard Kahn, another Jew probably. Okay, so there's that. He says something, Jeffrey to Epstein, he calls Bannon the honorary Jew. He says, you're an honorary Jew anyway. Now it's no longer Judeo-Christian, just Judeo. Honored, says Steve Bannon. I will drop the Christian in Christian Zionist.
Remember, he did that speech where he says that then. Remember,
Yeah,
we played that clip on here before where he says, "Oh, I don't call myself a Christian Zionist. I just say Zionist." That he literally said that after.
I don't remember him saying that exactly. I thought it was just he's a Christian Zionist and he's proud to say it. That's what I remember.
I believe that I believe it was exactly what he said in this email, which is he says, "I don't call myself a Christian Zionist. I just say I'm a Zionist." I think that's either he said that or the other guy in that crew. I can't think of his name. Has said that before. Has said that.
Yeah, it's funny because I kind of do the same thing too. Might as well just drop the hyphen. You're not Christian. You're just Jewish. Christians are it's a form of Judaism.
Yeah.
It is Judaism.
You should bring up the which one is it? The Le Pen thing here too. It's in the chat window with you.
Okay, let's see.
Because that's directly related to this too, right? Like this is what we're seeing. This what I would call like this Bannon connection, this Bannon Epstein connection. I think that this is a big deal because it's showing that he's like seeking advice from Bannon. Look what's in this email. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, Hannity. Where is it? Is it here?
Yeah.
London, paranoid, guest work in relationship with Trump, newly ascendant, being seen with me, might queer that. Hannity, Pierce Morgan. This is Bannon? No, Michael Wolff. He's the biographer of Trump that's like anti-Trump, right?
Mm-hmm. And they're talking
he was
about
having a meeting yesterday with French right-wingers, including Le Pen husband, about refinancing the National Front Party because apparently a good part of their money comes from Russia. Two thoughts here. These guys seem like idiots. Pure Ruritania and Bannon surrounded by his own thuggish-looking security. Hold on. What does it say there again about refinancing? It sounds like they're funded by Russia, but they were trying to not be all funded by Russia. That's what the refinancing part means.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to steer away from that or something. Well,
right.
What's interesting is
doesn't change that they're still deeply funded by Russia, though.
Oh yeah, and then in one of the things he said to Bannon, Bannon asked like, "Hey, I'm going to France to speak in Paris to talk at the National Front event," and Epstein's response is, "Well, be careful. I wouldn't speak there. I would just go because it could turn out like a Charlottesville." He says it's like this big rally that the National Front was doing, and Epstein tells him that. He says that it could be like that, and I looked into it a little bit, and that is kind of what happened. Those speeches did turn into like a sort of like Antifa versus French nationalists, like, sort of semi-riot or, kerfuffle in the streets. Mm-hmm. So that's just the fact that Epstein or that Bannon is asking Epstein for advice on what to do politically speaking, just show that is crazy, right?
Look at the Putin shill. Our house Putin shill here, Zornder Edom says, who I noticed doesn't donate anymore because I hurt your Putin fanboy, your Putin stan feelings. Said, Adam, please stop harping on evil Putin and Russians. Oh, we could talk about everything in the files, but not the Putin stuff, huh? That just shows everything about you, dude. Wow. Okay, here's Steve Bannon with Michael Wolff told Epstein the war between the Jews and the non-Jews, and the Jews are presently winning. It's tired of winning. You know who else said the same thing? Remember Kissinger?
Yeah.
Kissinger, war between Jews.
I'll be right back 1 sec.
Okay. Think it was Kissinger. Wasn't he the one that said there's a war in the White House? War, White House, Jews. Yeah, Kissinger, White House war between Jews and non-Jews. Thought so. What he meant by that, I think it's pretty straightforward. The eternal conflict between Jacob and Esau. Did Jay even read the email? They're scoffing at the idea, calling it pathetic, and he's acting like he's vindicated. Wild. But very on brand for a lying ortho bro like that. It's like Christian apologists lie about everything. So, okay, I want to see a little bit of this Who was Epstein really working for? Hold on, I'm just deleting a few things here. Yeah, Putin was just meeting with Chabad again, too. Exactly, Zornder Edom. He consolidated power amongst Russia. I got to play the clip, too. I didn't even play the clip. We'll find it right now, actually. Where is it? Shoot. There it is. Oh, no, that's not it. I don't have it. Putin met with Chabad, and they're like, there's no anti-Semitism in Russia. Thank you, Putin, for being so pro-Chabad. He shills Orthodox Christianity, which is the controlled op Christianity, and he's friendly with Chabad, and you still think he's a good guy, Zornder Edom? Okay, what is this? Only a few more here. Oh, wow, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm supposed to... It's almost time for the gym. Gym. Hope everybody's going to the gym and eating their steak and making their Viking stews, their crock pot stews with bones. Okay, this is what I want to see. This is what I was looking for. I want to see what the New York Post says about the Russia thing. Haven't checked it out yet.
That's hilarious. That's literally what I'm having for dinner, by the way.
What, steak?
In the crock pot. The crock pot, beef in the crock pot. It's funny.
Volkish Spirit is in the chat. Volkish, I can't believe Jay Dyer is so shameless. He's going to act like he's vindicated off of that. The email disproves him, and he's acting like he's vindicated. What a fucking fraud. So dishonest. Oh, shit. Emails reveal new theory about whom Epstein was really working for. Cryptic messages tying Jeffrey Epstein to Putin. Emails discussing meetings between Epstein and the Russian president.
$5. Do you guys think Fuentes and Big Tech wrote on the Express? Serious question.
Wrote on the what Express?
They're probably talking about the Lolita Express or...
Oh, yeah, Big Tech was actually best friends with Epstein. And Nick, I think Nick is the secret love child of Epstein in one of the Mexican maids on his yacht.
Well, no, maybe not. Maybe he was created in a test tube. You know what I mean?
Right. From Epstein's eugenics breeding program. Okay, let's see. Where maybe I got to go to read the fine print at Daily Mail. Let's see here. Hold on. Russian girls flown in to harvest compromise on world-famous figures. Multiple talks with Putin after his conviction. How come everybody... What's funny is they're all like, look, remember I covered earlier in the stream?
Well, that's like, what's his name? Look, Lutnick is like that. I have Lutnick as a liar.
Oh, right.
Post in there too that you should...
Okay, that's
same
right.
thing with him.
Lutnick.
It's the same exact thing, right? Like these fuckers. When we play this clip, when you play this clip for Lutnick, everyone should watch this and really, really analyze his body language and the way he talks and the way he's doing this. Rewatching this clip, to me, when I watch this, it's obvious he's lying with the way he tells the story. To me, this is like obviously lying. So like, we need to get our Goyim lie detectors up to realize this stuff like in real time and notice when they're lying. Because this is like I don't know, this is like not very good lying from Lutnick in my view. When he does the thing where, I don't know, you'll see it. It's just so obvious.
We'll get there in just a second.
Yeah.
But I didn't see this email. Funny how all the big Russia accounts didn't share this one. There's one where it talks about blackmail, Russian girls and blackmail. Wasn't the Bill Gates thing too with a Russian prostitute? Bill Gates got an STD from a Russian prostitute and then wanted to drug his wife so that he could give her the antibiotics for it.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah. Yeah, like Putin is mentioned in the files at 1,028 times. So like the idea that it's been sufficiently gone through yet, I don't think is even possible. So we, because we can't like rely on these like Twitter influencers to go through this. We have to go through it ourselves.
Well, also, like I was saying too, all the big Russia accounts that were doing the bail psyop were all like, Putin called this. Putin called out the Satan worshipers, right? Oh, actually, Putin's still talking and working with Epstein after his sex crime conviction. Actually, yeah, there's the Bill Gates thing, sex with the Russian girls. Onyx Rock, thank you.
$5. I saw a grow wiper in an AF hoodie at the gym today. I wanted to comment, but I'd rather let him make a fool of himself.
Should have told him to get green pilled. Tell him to watch me instead.
It's so wild that you can see groypers in the wild like that now, just sporting their. Oh my god, what a crazy situation.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Here's the Lutnick lie now.
Secretary Howard Lutnick, thank you for joining Podforce One. You're a New Yorker. You have known Donald Trump for 30 years. You know everybody. Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
All right. So we are in number 11 and he lives in number 9.
Right.
So
9/11.
We renovate, we buy.
His company was the one that lost the most amount of lives on 9/11 and I think might even been the floor that got hit by the plane was his. I forget the name of his company right now, but in the Twin Towers.
Our house is pigeons.
And remember, this guy's doing the Putin meeting with this guy is so important. People in our sphere have to understand this guy is like a bridge man between Chabad and Kushner and Trump and the whole thing, like, and Russia and the whole thing. Like this guy, that connection is so important. He is like the Tel Aviv, Moscow, Miami axis, I guess you would call it, right? That is like running the White House. Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, that's it. It was derelict.
He called Epstein the biggest blackmailer ever and denied hanging out with him, and then it turns out he was with him in the emails, right? That's what we're going to cover. Cantor Fitzgerald was his company, right? Thank you, King Gogo.
So we rebuild our house. We move in 2005. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 2008, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, "Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee." So my wife and I go next door. We walk the 7 steps, right, to the next house for coffee. We share a wall,
right.
So it's in New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, "Do you want a tour?" We said, "Great,
interesting."
He's got a really big house.
Every room you went into.
He's got a
biggest house in New York, right?
This is the stupidest way to answer. You can just tell, like I said, just watch how he's lying. You can tell he's lying.
Yeah,
how he tells his story. You get ready.
Sometimes when they give stories and they give like too many details, that could be a sign that they're right.
Yeah, and then like physically, he's gonna do this thing where he adds like physicality with his hand motions and things like that to the story, and that's how you know that this is just a bullshit story. He's like making it up on the spot too, I think.
All right, body language expert Amalek over here.
Yeah, here we go.
go.
Yeah,
and,
this is so obviously lying when I watch this.
So he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room, and then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah,
and he opens the doors, and there's a massage table in the middle of the room.
Ooh.
And candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, "Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage?" And he says, "Every day." And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, "And the right kind of massage." Now my wife
sounds about right.
So she looks at me. And I look at her. And
my wife is standing here.
I'm
ridiculous.
Sorry. We have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
That's what you told
So
your
I
wife?
was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross. And so I look back.
Oh my
Voice
God.
being added to it is so bad. It makes it so much worse.
Dude, it seems like an act. Like he's pearl clutching about Epstein in his happy ending massages or something.
Her reacting to like every single word with like positive affirmation is
Yeah.
just crazy. It's just the whole thing. Is
You know who else got busted for doing happy ending massages? Was the Jewish billionaire owner of the Patriots, the Genesis Award winner, top Zionist, right? I can't think of his name right now, but that was his scandal too. What was it?
I said I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember his name.
Patriots owner is Robert Kraft.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Of avoid. And so, yeah, that's my story. A one and absolutely done.
Yeah.
Pappy Dabs.
Dabs just subscribed on Rumble.
Thank you. Subscribers on Rumble never get those. Don't even know how that works. Okay, now here we go. This is the email. So 2012 from Lutnick says, "Hi, Jeff. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart's on Monday at some point. Where are you located? For my captain, does Sunday evening for dinner sound?" Oh my God, he's totally lying. "I have another couple, Lerman, Jews probably, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children. 2, 16, 2, 14, 2, 13, 2, 12, and 11, and a 7-year-old. Thanks. Come Saturday or Sunday for lunch, Little St. James on the map, behind Christman's Cove. For information, I will let you know what he says." So sounds like his story of going over for coffee and then never talking to him again is a big fat lie. That's big. He should be
he should
not
be impeached for
impeached, but
this.
is
Yeah,
it
no, he
impeached?
should be.
You
Yeah,
should be
or
kicked out for a
remove
big lie like this.
Yeah, he should be removed, honestly. But he should be removed for what he's doing with all of his other stuff too, not just this. So
Let's see. Lutnick from Jeff Gross from Lutnick. Fundraising event with Hillary Clinton invited. So that's Lutnick was invited to the thing by Epstein? Is that what? So that is a total lie. Can we visit the island and bring children? He's not bringing his own children to be raped. What does it say about blonde hair? Hold on. No way that's real. Send photos of you and child makes me smile. That can't be real. This is the first I've seen this one, and the letters all look really worse than everything else. You see what I'm saying? Like the quality of it.
yeah, I'm looking it up right now to confirm it. I'm
Yeah,
seeing
hold
if
on.
there's,
Donald, beauty contest, Clinton's. This is 2016 too. No way Epstein's asking people to send picture of their child in 2016. Dude, no, I don't believe in Shekelsberg. There's no way Lutnick is offering his children to Epstein. That is not happening. Just look up the ID. What ID? I don't see an ID.
Well, I'm trying to find like a unique part of the wording here. I tried makes me smile, but that's not good enough. There's 45 results for that. Can you bring that back up a little bit so I could just see the wording of it? FYI.
How about you and child? Yeah, the other kids were with
I see it.
Dude, billionaires go on yachts, they bring their kids, they visit their billionaire friends at islands. They're not going there to let Dude, you think Lutnick's going to let Epstein rape his daughters? You are stupid. They cropped that? Yeah, it's because it's probably fake. I haven't seen
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the version, and it said, here, I'll send you the direct link, or I'll post it in the Odysee chat so you could get it faster, but that's the direct link to it.
And where is even child? What child are they talking about here? I don't see any. Donald? Both Donald. Okay, anyway, I guess we'll look into that one more here in a second. Oh, here's the other one you shared. You said this is fake Talmud in his office. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Kang Min Lee, another big influencer that's Christian. Let's see. 41,000 likes. Okay, what does he say? Had the Talmud in his office, named his bank account Baal. That's a lie. Mocked Goyim explicitly in emails. Very true. Told other Jews to only hire Jews who can prove their ancestry. Could it be more obvious? Okay, so you're saying this is not the Talmud? Is that what the lie is?
Oh, that's absolutely not the Talmud. No, that is not the Talmud. That's like something. It's like legal books or something. There's a bunch of people sharing what that actually was.
I saw other angles and people denying it's a Talmud.
It's definitely not the Talmud, though. I know that. So it's just bullshit. These guys are just so dumb that they think any like set of books that look like that are matching, they must be Talmud instead of the, it could be encyclopedias, legal books, anything like that. They're just guessing. They have no. It's just e-crusader bullshit. It's ways for them to focus on the Talmud over any. Please don't focus on the Bible. Just don't anything but that. Like that's what they're doing here.
Right. Oh, and U.S. Army too. I guess he worked for the U.S. Army. Let the Goyim deal with the real world. That's so crazy. So you list 4 points and 2 of them are not accurate. Not a good batting average.
I see a lot of people in our sphere basically like making the argument that, pointing out the Russian connection or the Putin connection, that's to distract from Israel. And I would just say I think everyone is missing the point here. The point here is that
it's a nexus of both. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's the same thing. That's what we're trying to tell people. It's like a one organization or faction, I would say, of Zionists is this like Miami, Tel Aviv, Moscow, Lakudnik, Chabad, Kushner, all these people, they're all tied up together. And then it's like a web, and that like they're also related to Bannon in a way. They're also related to Epstein in a way. So what we're looking at is that relationship that is, it is religiously Jewishly based, right? Like that relationship is based on Jewish relationships, is what I would say. But to point at like either we're blaming Israel, or we're blaming Russia, like individually, like that's to miss the whole point. What we're trying to look at here is like an international network that isn't confined to one state or one country or whatever. Like that's what we're trying to tell people.
On the Lutnick email, though, he lies and says he met Epstein once and he was creepy and he never wanted to talk to him again. But in reality, he's busted emailing him about bringing his children to the island to go hang out at Epstein's island. And even though it's not for Epstein to rape his children, it still shows how much Lutnick is lying, that he was so close with him and didn't. The whole story about him and that thing is probably a lie if he's bringing his kids to the island.
Yeah, and this is an important part too. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. This is very important. What people need to realize is what they did with Epstein is they charged him for crimes against a 17-year-old and then ignored all of the other charges and all the other things. They basically got him for the 17-year-old and they gave him like special treatment. Okay, so a lot of this is I think it's the Virgin Islands Attorney General and things like that, like their Justice Department. A lot of this is showing that they gave him preferential treatment with that kind of stuff. And what was happening is, and this makes total sense if everyone's just honest with themselves and understands, is that Epstein is like a very rich and wealthy guy who's like giving out money for retarded projects and having parties. And what's happening is he's just telling people like, he's like hand waving his charge away, saying like, oh yeah, it was just like a 17-year-old I was charged with. So like that's kind of like the truth there, is that the charges that he got were like insufficient for all the in the court records we see that there was like 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds and all this other stuff that was going on, but he was only charged against a 17-year-old. So what he's telling all these rich people that he's hanging out with, and Lutnick and all these people, what he must be telling them is like, I got caught up, it was only a 17-year-old. And the Chomsky giving advice to Epstein that I linked to here at the bottom, it's Chomsky giving him that advice, basically saying like Chomsky says in that one, in that clip, in that post, he says, it's not like you're a neo-Nazi or something like that. You just had you just got caught like with an underage girl. And then he's telling people like, or he's telling Epstein that's how he needs to deal with it. Right. So you can see like, we're all looking at this hindsight 2020, looking at Lutnick and being like, oh my God, Lutnick took his kids to the island. It's like, okay, it's his neighbor. They're both Jews. And you can see how, because of the way he was given preferential legal treatment, he can hand wave it away permanently. Oh, she was just 17. See, that's the real like truth of what happened, is that because he's an elite Jewish multi-billionaire who's got connections to everywhere, he was able to manipulate the charges that he got.
Thank you, Abraham Delinda. That's a new name.
On Xbox Live back in 2013 and then stole my middle school crush.
I know, that is very likely. Good possibility. I see here in the chat they're saying that Lutnick, you have no idea. You'd be surprised what Lutnick would do for money. And it's like, he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire banker. He's not whoring out his 14-year-old daughter to Epstein. That is so stupid. Maybe the only way you could say that is if you're not a father, I think.
So the other thing too, somebody just said in the chat, Werewolf Brigade, it's totally right. It's Wexner's money. He wasn't rich. That's another thing that I've been, Breaking Points was going over this. There's like a missing money trail here with Epstein. Like there's no evidence that he was making some of these large, huge trades that you would expect from someone like him with money coming from him. So I agree with what Werewolf Brigade is saying here. I think that the network and the way he was getting his money was through Wexner and like that whole operation, which again, like Jewish billionaire who's like, it's Victoria's Secret. Look, they're like exploiting. I don't want to sound like a feminist here or anything, but like they're exploiting women in like dangerous and like disgusting ways. So this is just all part of the same problem, I would say. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, let's get to this rabbi.
Did you have the Chomsky email where he brings that up?
Virgin Islands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Chomsky? Hold on, let me do the Chabad thing and then we'll do the Chomsky.
Okay, cool.
Which Chomsky?
It's the last link I sent. It's Chomsky giving advice to Epstein.
So here's Rabbi Asher Fetterman, the Chabad rabbi of the Virgin Islands, says, Epstein, my family and I live on the island for the last 8.5 years. We run the local Chabad house as well as a Jewish welcome center. We have grown tremendously over the few years and have touched tens of thousands of Jews visiting the island, blah, 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 Jewish campaign. I have heard that you are an extremely generous individual. It would be my honor to meet with you when you have time and share with you our accomplishments and future plans. So this is who funds Chabad, is they do this outreach to every Jewish billionaire, secular or not. What year was this too? 2014. Is this after he was arrested?
This is before. Oh, for the 2019 charges, I think this would be before. I think, I don't know for sure though. But this is how they've always operated. If you like type in or just like start searching like Chabad commercial fundraisers and things like that, you can find like when the show Friends was on, for example, like Friends was doing Chabad charity work and all these other things. Like this is how Chabad has its power, right? Is that even secular Jews or quote unquote secular Jews and basically like anybody it's in these types of circles, these elite circles, they're like paying homage or like a tithe to Chabad. Like this is happening constantly. That's always how they've been.
Thank you, Dinsdale, for that big donut. We're 5 away from the goal. Thank you. You guys have been awesome today.
Thank you.
Well, that cut off short. Okay, I'll do your one thing. Last one, giving advice to Epstein. Let's go. Chomsky died, right?
I don't remember now. Did he? I've read his stuff. I can't remember.
This is a long one. Chomsky gave Epstein advice on how to outlast the pedophilia allegations against him. Anyone running interference for Chomsky at this point needs to be thrown in the garbage. Despicable. He says ignore it all.
No, Chomsky's still alive. But yeah, hold on. Look at the middle paragraph where he says that's the important part.
How do you
what the vultures clearly want? That's the part that matters. Look what he says.
Venomous attacks, publicity seekers are cranks of all sorts, which are impossible to answer. How do you prove that you are not a neo-Nazi who wants to kill the Jews or a rapist or whatever charge comes along? Why would he say that about Epstein?
Well, that's what he's saying. He's using that as see. This is how they view calling someone a neo-Nazi. Like this is
that it can't be denied.
Yes.
Yeah, they can do it, and we can't, and they can get away with it by calling us that.
Yes,
right?
You can see that Chomsky understands that, right? Isn't that fascinating?
Thank you, Stacia. Yeah, they know the game of calling everybody a Nazi that hates Jews. Thank you, Dinsdale, again.
$50. Great work, Adam.
I wonder if that was an accidental repeat, but yeah, he says direct.
That's particularly true now with the hysteria that has developed about abuse of women, which has reached the point.
Rochelle sent $5. I still think these dudes are predators and the Christian cope is cringe. Both at the same time.
Oh, Epstein was clearly a predator. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is proof of it is not Lutnick coming visiting with his kids is not proof he's a predator. That's the point I'm trying to make. People are like, I've been talking about Epstein forever. I've been talking about Trump. I've been talking about the blackmail rings. There's no covering up going on here.
Yeah, somebody's accused me of that earlier today, that I'm trying to carry water for Epstein. It's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I've been talking about this since I don't know, 2015 or 2016 or whatever it was. Like, I don't know.
Okay, they're saying he was passed away, so stuff in there about him being killed. Oh, Peter Thiel, he told Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel got caught up in this too, hanging out and closer with Epstein than he led on to. He's like, I met with him once to talk about taxes, and then it looks like it was a lot more friendly than that.
Prime sent $5 on Rumble. But Epstein is cool. Who wouldn't want to party with him and teen girls? Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, Nick's. Did you see? He's really asking for attacks with all that stuff and selling the Epstein stuff, selling the Epstein merch too is wild.
You know, this is what I think is going on there. Like, people just need to stop taking the bait with Nick. Like, what's going on there, Nick, with like Nick and psychologically, and he's even said this on his show like multiple times. I do watch his stuff and I watch the super chats. And what I'm telling you guys is that you're like taking the bait here. He's trying to make a point that he's not going to be like audience captured by idiots and stupid conspiracies. So he's like doing like a long troll. I don't agree with it. I think it's stupid. I don't think that like it's helpful for him to do that. Mm-hmm. But basically, you know, Nick, and he said this on his show, has come to the conclusion that after 10/7, there's so many retards following him that he has to like IQ sift through them. And he's using this whole thing to do that. So like from our perspective, for our guys who watch Nick, like, look, guys, I get it. I don't like it either. I'm not a fan of him, like, you know, gassing up and giving aura to Epstein or anything like that. I get it. Okay. But when we like go in and like play ball with that, like take the bait there, it's actually not helpful. We should just keep hammering home the truth about what's going on with Nick, which is that he's worshiping the Jewish God. His Catholic Church hates him. He doesn't know like anything about Catholicism. And like the issue and the problems that we have today are not going to be solved by more Jesus. Like, we have to keep our critique of Nick on those veins. Anytime we like stray out and we're like calling him a Mexican, calling him a Fed, saying he loves Epstein, any of those types of criticisms of Nick, it's like ineffective criticism, because none of the people that we're trying to reach there and trying to convert to our views are ever going to like ever take anything like that seriously. Like, we're just wasting our time. So whenever you're critiquing Nick in public, that's the angle that it should be done, is like on our legitimate grounds and staying there like very firmly, no matter how much any of that other stuff might be true about him. It's just not helpful to like actually beating him.
Yeah, I don't know who this Shekelsberg is in the county. Says Adam is coping. Fuck this, I'm out. Are you talking about the Lutnick thing? Because I don't think Lutnick, who is already a billionaire, he wasn't offering up his young daughters to Epstein. Lutnick, who's a Jewish billionaire, is not offering up his daughters to Epstein. He was already a billionaire. That is not coping. That is just the most retarded take to take that thing. The takeaway is Lutnick is lying and taking his children there when he claimed that he wasn't friends with Epstein.
Yeah. And like I just want to say one last thing about my last point here. Like, I get you guys, if you guys think he's gay and you guys think that he's Mexican and you think he's Sephardic and you think he's a Fed, all that stuff, the way to actually beat somebody like that is what I'm talking about, which is like remaining like strapped in and like completely focused on our issues that we know we can win on. Okay. So if you think those things are true, the way to beat them is to not just like endlessly repeat that over and over again. The way to beat that is to counter it with like the actual facts that we have. So that's my real
just
point.
Trying to be edge. The selling the shirt thing is just a troll. It's a classic get attention troll. Nick has learned that any attention is good attention. That's what it is.
And it looks like a nice quarter zip too. I'm not. You can't lie about that. After Epstein made that. After Epstein made that post about the Catholics and the Africans, you know what I mean? I won't lie. I was kind of thinking about getting one of those nice quarter zips.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's Epstein tells Peter Thiel that he represents the Rothschilds. Here's setting up a meeting with Netanyahu, granted a meeting with Minister Netanyahu. This kind of makes it, he says, surprise, surprise. This is 2011. If he's been working with Netanyahu and Mossad to blackmail everybody for a long time, going back to Ghislaine Maxwell, it wouldn't be against all odds that he gets a meeting with Netanyahu. If anything here, this is not very convincing, honestly.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like, let's like, okay, this is how I like to think of these things. Let's just play the mind experiment here. Let's just say that Epstein actually is like a Mossad agent running like a full-on Jewish blackmail ring where Mossad blackmails rich Americans and then gets them to do what they want. Is Epstein meeting with that person, or I'm sorry, is Netanyahu meeting with that person conducive to their mission? Would they ever meet that person like that? Obviously not. If like they would never do that, right? Does everyone understand what I'm saying? Like this is not a good strategy for them. And like, look, I don't like what they're doing, but like Jews are just like smarter than that. They wouldn't be doing that kind of shit, guys. Like I don't know what to tell you. Whoever there is that like that is running the blackmail like rings and the extortion rings and the child trafficking rings, whoever that person is not like having public meetings with Netanyahu. There's like they have to have like a layer of plausible deniability between them.
Well, that looked like a private meeting. It was a private meeting, but he looked like he was lucky to get it or something.
Yeah, just regardless, like you understand the premise of what I'm saying. Like that, like if if this is true, whoever is doing that is not like, I don't know. They're not going to be implicating themselves like that, guys. Like that, they're just smarter than that, unfortunately.
There's audio of Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel, and Epstein talking about Peter Thiel and Palantir. Ehud Barak and Epstein invested in some of these companies too. Maybe it wasn't Palantir. Oh no, Epstein did invest in Palantir. That's right.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
40 million it was, I think.
And I don't even think that they're like super smart. I think really what's going on is they're just like taking advantage of like the average intelligence and like the fact that like everybody else is like individualists. The fact that they're nepotistic and they're like above average intelligence and everyone else is just retarded basically. Like that's the actual function of what's going on. It's not that they're like some super evil.
No, not geniuses at all. You see the interview, you can tell he's not a genius. Okay, and there's this. This is funny. 29,000 likes for this guy Rathbone. Says he's starting the Goyim Defense League to combat anti-Goyinism. Wow, what a popular 30,000. Hilarious. What such a great original idea. Who could have ever thought of something like that? A Goyim Defense League. Wow, the Goyim are really noticing now. Such a popular, hilarious idea. 30,000 likes. Drop your foreskin in the comments, he says. Isn't that funny? It's funny seeing memes that, like, I saw on Instagram, it was like 130,000 likes on when you get to the bottom of the rabbit hole, the T is silence, things I've been saying 10 years ago, Goyim Defense League, and now it's like the most trendy, popular, viral things going on. Isn't that interesting? I don't even want to cover this. I got to wrap it up. Oh, is there some more? I'll cover this on the next show. Was there some more?
No, the only thing is the very top one with Spencer.
Oh, that's right. JFG and Spencer. Oh, there was an email of Ryan Dawson in the file too, like between one of the victims talking about Dawson or something like that. Richard Spencer is in the Epstein files. Somebody called in a tip to the FBI about JFG. John F. Garepi, who it's been known for a long time. He said it. He told everybody. Epstein
the
gave
clip
him
is in the replies to that tweet.
Okay, good. Epstein gave him $25,000 for his brain some kind of neuro brain project he had.
It makes perfect sense if you've read.
This is it right here.
You were joking, I presume.
No, I'm not joking. This is real. Jeff Epstein was a founder to one of my nonprofits in the U.S. with a $25,000 check in 2015.
Richard's face is so funny.
Wow.
Wow.
You were joking, I presume.
And you're only telling me this now. Dude, Dinsdale came up big with the donos today. Thank you so much, Dinsdale. I don't know that I've ever seen a Dinsdale in here before, but I really do appreciate it so much, dude. Successful stream. Nero TV was his first YouTube channel. Yeah, I remember the whole thing too. This has been something known about for a long time. It's a good thing that JFG was upfront and honest about it all those years ago. Otherwise, this would look really bad.
You gotta read the report.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Oh yeah, this is another problem too, that people that don't have any discernment or critical thinking skills, they're taking every single FBI tip. So after Epstein's arrested, any Joe Schmo can call the FBI or send an email and say they think this is their theory, and then it's in the files and people are citing the files as if that means it's
Dude,
true
there's so
or
much
legit.
of it. You know what it reminds me of? You already I was gonna tweet this, maybe I'll tweet this later or something like that. It's like the Talmud stuff, right? It's like that where they take you'll have a rabbi say an argument and then 20 rabbis refute it, and they just take that one rabbi and they just quote that as they have no ability to discern primary sources. It's like an education problem. These guys have never taken a primary source and critically attacked it and looked at it at all. They just accept whatever they see. It's crazy. But this report is so funny.
This isn't the emails, but the emails are also in the dump where it shows JFG getting the $25,000 from Epstein. So we see the whole thing there, and it's just you could tell he's just elated that he's getting money for his YouTube channel. But here it is. Somebody called in a tip or emailed a tip, and they're like, I came across a video on YouTube claims that Jeffrey Epstein donated $25K to start his YouTube channel. Garepi is shown on video talking with Richard Spencer, admitting to receiving the donation. JFG, who's an alleged white nationalist, has admitted to having relationships with mentally retarded girls. Quote. And that's in the files.
Oh, JFG and his mentally retarded girls.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is it's clearly somebody who's seething, right, over either Richard or JF. And I can just imagine that there's posts like this sent about you or other people to the FBI, these types of tips, right? These kinds of autistic people. JF said something he tweeted about. He said, now reading this memo makes me realize that the freaking English government's intelligence agencies were the ones pushing the FBI to look into me. It's important that we get governments that don't coordinate in this way to track and supervise their population. I do agree with that too. That's kind of it's kind of freaky that this is going on, right? That this is how these types of things are dealt with.
Look at this. This is good. Spencer says MAGA populism has long been a Jewish project with Bannon and Netanyahu and Epstein. Or Bannon's not in this photo, but Breitbart was.
Breitbart,
Bannon,
yeah.
and Bannon.
It is interesting, right? Because it is it is. They did do a sort. There's a truth to what the left is saying, where they're saying, oh, all of the far right is all Epstein. Everything about it is, a psyop. The true part of that is that it does seem that we were, given the 2016 back then, I guess now, version of the Southern strategy. It was the first time that the Southern strategy was implemented on the internet is the first Trump election, right? And it was very clearly, authentic in my view. It had authentic energy to it and authentic reasoning, but they were at the top kind of controlling it with Breitbart, Steve Bannon, all this other they did have their finger in it for sure. You know what I mean?
I was covering it since the beginning, actually.
Yeah.
The chat says, yeah, exactly. There's tips to the FBI the Christians are sending in. They're like, Adam Green is a Jew. He works for Mossad. He's trying to lead us to hell. He's lying about Jesus. That's probably
I saw
the
Adam
tips.
Green worshiping the devil in the woods. Like, I bet you that kind of stuff. You should do like a FOIA request for your name or something like that. Because I bet you there's tons of stuff like that, or some of it.
Yeah. Epstein banned from Xbox Live in 2013 for harassment, threats, and abuse of other players, and repeated, severe, and excessive.
Gamer. It's funny. I saw that, but I saw a debunking of this that showed that it was a law that I think it was New York passed that anybody who's like a registered sex offender had to be banned from Xbox Live, and that was a result of that. Is what I've seen. Now I don't know I only looked through that for like 5 minutes, so that could be false, but that's what I saw about it.
Adam wrote a Babylonian Nazi book. That's so funny. Yeah, shut him down.
But so that seems that he was a gamer confirmed. He was talking about like microtransactions being added to Call of Duty, and the gamers were not happy about that. He had a World of Warcraft account I saw that he registered on his emails. That's pretty funny. So he's like playing World of Warcraft on his island or whatever. Shit's fucking hilarious.
Here's the JFG emails. It just talks about. Hold on. When is this? Is this the one I saw? Meetup overview of NeuroTV's current progress and goals. So this is what guys like Epstein do, probably. Like 25,000 is nothing to them. It's like pocket change. So any type of like scientific, because that's what JFG is, right?
Yeah,
it's like
that's
a biological,
exactly how it is.
neurological author.
Yeah. I mean, I disagree with JF on a lot of topics, and I know people like freak out at him, like specifically like, the whole, wife thing and all that.
The whole disappearing wife act.
Yeah. I get all that. His book is very interesting. I read it when it first came out, and like, he's like a smart guy. And like, look, guys, when there's smart people, like they're just going to be able to get away with this kind of stuff because there's so few smart people. So, I'm not a fan of all that stuff, but, that's just the reality of the situation. Smart people can get away with more. And he is smart. JF is.
He says, what were you doing in 2015? He's in the files. What were you doing? I thought I read another one that talked about like the 25K and where to send the check and the whole thing going down.
Yeah, I saw that going around too. I think it's authentic too. If I remember correctly, I searched his name. He's a weirdo. I don't disagree. Like I said, I'm just letting you guys know, like when you have smart people, this is what happens. They're allowed to get away with potentially, allegedly disappearing their wife or whatever.
All right. Well, we're doing the book release tomorrow. You guys check the links below the website. You can find the Amazon link and the way to buy it through my site if you want it signed and shipped from me. I'm headed to the gym, and I appreciate everybody for the support tonight. Thank you, Amalek, for joining once again, helping, riding shotgun, helping today for this big one. Too big to me to handle all on my own. I just can't handle it.
There's so much.
Forgot a lot of stuff. I would have let everybody down by forgetting.
Well, tomorrow's the awesome meeting the goal, guys, and tomorrow is or the next day, I guess, whenever we're gonna do the book stuff, going through the book. That's gonna be awesome. So.
Yep. Jesus Deception Show tomorrow. Adam Green is in the Rabbi Goldberg. Yeah, I'm in the Project Pogo files. That's right. Released by our martyred Jewish hero, David Goldberg. Yeah, shout out to Dinsdale, John Garatis, everybody else with the big donos tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And I will be back tomorrow. Huge show, book release, years in the making. And I will see you then. Clip the show, leave a comment, like, share the link. You guys know what to do. See you later.